Hello there, and welcome back. Welcome back to the Agostino Zinga Show with I, your host, Agostino Zinga, and this is episode number 882. That is Ocho Ocho Dos of the Agostino Zinga Show, coming at you live and direct from an undisclosed location somewhere within the depths of East London. How you doing? How you feeling? Great, amazing, good to hear. Great, amazing, good to hear. As you can hear, my phone is blowing up in the background too. I'm not gonna lie, man. Maybe today it's because of the weather and the sun is, shining through my window here. It's not super warm outside. It's still very cold, so it's very deceptive in a very London, UK Pacific way, the weather. But I can't lie, man. Ever since this channel got remonetized, ever since this podcast has been booming and striving and succeeding, right? And getting all the awards and adulation and success, I can't lie. I am way happier now. I'm way happier. I didn't know how much this was like a dark cloud over me until I got that email that said I've been remonetized. Honestly. Now, don't get me wrong. I was okay. I managed to survive during those 6 months. I was, struggling away, clawing away, doing what needed to be doing, hustling, getting my grind on. More importantly, not complaining about anything or crying to anybody and just using my own kind of, resources to fucking work shit out. But I can't lie. I am over the moon. I'm really fucking happy that it got sorted out. Really fucking happy it got sorted out because god damn it, man. It was just, what was annoying me the most thing about it? It was mostly like, why would it have to be me? Why do I always have to go through something? Why can't shit just be easy, I was having the channel doing what it was doing. I think I decided to split it and do the random show as a separate channel to make sure it wasn't confused so people could know where to go. If they wanted comedy stuff, if they wanted cultural commentary shit. I was just in the process of getting started or doing that, and then bang, the demonetization button fucking happened, or the hammer came down on me and it flipping took away, all my possibility of earning any kind of P on this kind of channel, which is obviously annoying. It's not like when it comes to money and creative stuff, I'm very reasonable. Like, even when I was throwing parties, it was never about really making loads of money, which was always great if you did it, but it was also about just putting on an event for your friends, and if you broke even, you're fine, as long as you can get your cost back, and that's essentially what the monetization for this channel was doing. It kind of pays for itself, I don't make enough to fucking not have to work with this channel or with the random show, but it just allows itself to pay for itself, in terms of hosting, in terms of buying equipment and all that malarkey. It just pays for itself, which is nice. But when you take that ability away, it makes it harder to create the content because now you're dipping into your own pockets and it's not paying for itself. It just becomes a little bit, I wouldn't say it becomes financially irresponsible, but it becomes harder to keep on grinding, keep on pushing. So the little bit that they do give you, they don't give you a lot, YouTube. They don't give you a lot. But the little that you get, you have to fucking work really hard at it. You gotta be super consistent. You gotta fucking grind, which is a real grind on here, because when you first start, like most people, you start off with 0 views, especially if you're not buying views or you're doing it the real honest way. You start off with nobody watching you, and then little but surely through, pure blood, sweat and tears, you kind of grow up, you go up, and you slowly but surely get people paying attention to stuff that you do. And then who knows, monetarily, it could be beneficial. But that's the thing that's made this a little bit more satisfying, that now finally I'm in a position where it's making sense to do this and it kind of pays for itself, which then makes it way more fun. Because when it pays for itself, you're not bothered about, doing things solely for the dollar or anything. You're just concentrating on putting out fun content or putting out things that you're interested in or talking about stuff that you're interested in and kind of going from there, which is what I'm going to be doing going forward. So again, I know I stressed it before in the last episode. I know I'm banging on about it now, but I woke up today in a really good mood. I'm not usually a downer type of person anyway. I think as a standard man, I kind of bury those feelings deep down inside. But I had noticed in the last few months, when it came to my content, I was approaching in a little bit of a dragging my feet kind of way. I was a little bit in my feels. But now this monetization thing has been, resolved, and I'm now back where I should be. I'm feeling a lot more optimistic, a lot more happier, and I can't wait to see what the future holds. Really cannot wait. I got some big, I guess I got some big plans, but mostly plans around the stuff that I like to do. So it's not something super crazy. It's not like I'm going to open a skyscraper anytime soon, but I am looking forward to what the future holds, because now the world is my oyster. Now the world is my oyster. One thing that isn't my oyster is my hair. I don't know what to do with my hair, man. We're going to talk about hair later on with the controversy happening at the moment on Black Twitter with this young girl that got flipping dragged up and down a flipping hair salon or a hairstylist's home where she was getting her hair done. Absolutely tragic news. But one thing that I'm realizing is that I'm kind of getting bored of my hair. I've been cursed with having loads of hair. I don't really have an issue with balding anytime soon. The only issue I have is with some grays along the edges and shit, but that's really about it. But I don't really have any issue with like not having enough hair on my head. It could be argued that maybe my hair hasn't grown much since it's been this length, but I think if I cut it, it would grow again. But also I don't comb it that much. But if I comb it out with a hot comb, you'll see how long it is. Like, especially when I get my hair braided and I go to the shop and the lady, the auntie fucking combs my hair out with a hot comb and it straightens it out. My hair is incredibly long. It's like 2 times the length of this once it's actually been hot combed out. But I don't know what to do because I'm not patient enough to get my hair braided regularly, because getting your hair braided, you have to do it at least every month. At least. You probably have to do it every 3 weeks to keep it really fresh. But if you want to avoid getting like fuzzy Jim Jones braids, you have to keep up with your braiding every fucking 4 weeks. And in between that time, your hair is going to be incredibly itchy. So I'm thinking maybe I should get my hair locked for once and for all. And what I will do if I get my hair locked is that if I get my hair locked, the good thing about it would be, and by locks I mean dreadlocks, would be that it would also give me an excuse to cut it off if I got bored. Like if they've reached a point where I got bored of the dreads, I could easily just cut it off and start again, you know? So I think that's what I might do going forward. I honestly think that might be the way to go, because I'm getting really fed up of this hair on my head. I'm getting fed up of not being able to wear hats. I'm getting fed up of not knowing how to style it. I'm getting fed up of having to try and wash it. Like the other day, I was washing it with my fucking man and tail, big up Wiz Khalifa, you know, shampoo conditioner combo thing. And it was taking fucking ages to get in all the little nooks and crannies and, you know, getting right down into the scalp and making sure every part was fucking washed and cleaned, and then having to apply flipping, you know, hair moisturizer to it later on. Like, oh yeah. It's exhausting, man. It really is. It's not just a get up and go type of thing. You have to put on a woolly hat to cover it. Even now, you know what's really happened as well that's annoying me? I had a haircut, like 2 weeks ago? And even though the haircut isn't that spoiled, isn't that rusty on the sides, because my hair on the top is so jangly and all over the place, it's now made my haircut look a bit shit. You know, that's a problem. My hair only looks good once this has been cut on the day, but over time it looks really fucking terrible. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way to kind of style this hair to maintain it in a way where it's not as messed up as this. So I guess the only way to do it is to get locks, or to get my hair braided regularly, or to do a fucking little yatty and just cut my hair off completely and start again from scratch, which I'm not too sure about because my head shape is a madness, man. The whole reason why I have this hair is because when I was in school, secondary school to be precise, I used to get bullied for the size of my head, the shape of my head. Big up Dominic. He used to say I had a 50 pence head. 50 pence head. Like, if you know what 50 pence looks like, you know what I'll go on. The top of my head kind of looks like that. It kind of looks like a condom. So when I cut my hair down, I've got this point at the top here. So I'm really fucking scared of what to do going forward. Honestly, I don't know how it's going to work, because if I cut my hair, because I have done it before. I have cut my hair to a 1 level prior. Let me see if I actually do I have a picture of it? I might have a picture of it somewhere of me with the 1 level. Because I look kind of crazy, I'm not going to lie. I look kind of crazy with the 1 level. I did have a mohawk that was a good way. That was a good in-between. I had an actual mohawk which kind of covered up the pointy bit at the top of my head. Because, like I said, my head is like a triangle. If you don't have my hair here, you would see it. It's like a bit of a triangle at the top. But the mohawk helped to kind of like even it out a little bit because I had the bar of hair in the middle. But getting a fucking African man uncle mohawk in 2025 is a decision, isn't it? That's a real choice. Like, me deciding to get a mohawk in 2025 is a real decision. You know what I mean? Just to kind of allow me. I don't know what to do. Honestly, I'm so stuck. I have no idea what to do with my hair. I need help. I need absolute help. I'm going to quickly go through my Flickr here and see if there's any pictures of me. I think there should be a picture of me at least with some level of low hair, because I know in the past that was a thing I used to do. I used to have kind of lowish styled hair, but nowadays that hair isn't like that anymore. ladies and gentlemen. That hair isn't like that anymore. Where is it? Do I have it here anywhere? Maybe not actually. There's a lot of hair, there's a lot of trims here of me with flipping. That's what I used to have back in the day. Actually, a box. Yeah, that's one of my old back in the day haircuts. Actually, let me get this up actually so you can see. I can show you what I'm talking about. Oops, is it there? That's not. Why is it not loading properly? Let's get this over there then. See, maybe that works out this way. Big up the stream chat too. Big up Apex Putter in the stream chat. Wagwan G. Big up Andre too. Wagwan. Big up a struggling Fang player. Looks still require maintenance, especially if you want them to be styled at the time. Oh, don't say that. Don't say that. So any way that I turn, whether it's keeping my hair as it is, getting dreadlocks, getting braided, it's all required maintenance. So basically what you're saying is that I need to put on my big boy pants, I need to tighten my belt and stop being a baby and maintain my hair. Because I'm at the age now, or at the stage in life where I can't get away looking like a, well, I don't want to look like a tramp, and you can't get away looking like one, you know? It doesn't suit me. I can't do the Tremaine. You know how Tremaine Emery looks like? He's got that whole hobo thing going on. I can't do that. I want to look clean. I want to look proper. I want to look like I smell nice, you know? I want to smell nice in real life. I want to look nice. I want every part of my body, from my fingernails, which I always trim, to my smell, to my skin, to my hair, to reflect a cleanliness, somebody that lives a cleanly life, you know, or my cleanliness, whatever it may be. But yeah, this is I guess the closest I got to like a low haircut is this picture here, which is a terrible picture because it's really small. But this is, I guess, the closest I might have had to being a small. But you can see here, that's me back in the day with like a box haircut, right? Like a box on top, looking at Temper T. Also wearing a The Hundreds t-shirt as well, The Hundreds paisley t-shirt in purple. I wish I still had that t-shirt, man. I should have never sold it. But yeah, this is kind of the vibe that I was going for back in the days. But I can't think of anything. I can't think of anything else that would suit me at the moment. But I need to find a solution because I can't be having this hair at the moment. It's just too much to handle, man. It's really pissing me off. It's not allowing me to wear hats easily. Like, I've got this really cool hat here from Keinemusik that I got given from my old job. Big up Parade World, right? I've got this really cool Keinemusik hat that I can't wear. I can't even fucking wear this hat because my head is so fucking big and my hair is so fucking large. I can't wear hats properly. Like, this hat doesn't really suit my head at the moment because my hair is fucking so fucking large and big. So I need to find a solution that can fucking help me at the moment. So I guess I'm gonna have to go back to the drawing board and figure it out. Dreadlocks are gonna require work too. I've just learned now, unfortunately. I guess the only thing I can think about dreadlocks is that maybe what I'd want with dreadlocks, like even if I don't maintain it often, at least all my hair will be like clumped up at the top, you know? At the moment, it's just all over the place, you know? That's probably part of my thinking of wanting to get dreadlocks. At least I have it clumped up here and I can kind of quote unquote forget about it, if that makes sense. It doesn't make sense, I know, but if that makes sense, that's what I'm thinking of doing going forward, because I just can't put up with this any longer, man. I can't be this guy. Like, I really can't be this fucking, you know, constantly everyday Afro guy, man. It's really fucking annoying me. I need a break. Please, for the love of God, I need a fucking break from this hair situation that I got going on. So anyone has any ideas, feel free to reach out. There'll be a link in the email down below if you want to. Those of you in the stream chat, let me know about your suggestions of what I should do at the top of my head. Maybe I'll just wake up one day, be frustrated, and just cut it all off. That's also an option. I may wake up in the morning and just think, you know what, fuck this, and just shave everything off, the entirety of my fucking hair, and just start again. That's entirely possible. I've had those moments in my life where I just wake up one day, I'm like, you know what, enough is enough, man. Cut this whole thing off. I don't want it anymore. That might be the vibe. Honestly, that might be the vibe, because at the moment, I'm just so annoyed with it. Because it also annoys me, because it kind of forces me to have a certain beard as well. Because I feel like certain beards don't work well, you know, with certain hairs, if that makes sense. Like, you have to have your beard in a certain way as well. So I just need it to all fucking change, man. And the hair has been part of my identity too long, you know? It's been part of my look for too long. I need to fucking change it. Like, big up Futurism. Like, you know what I mean? I was always known as the person that had hair on the top of my head. Like, back in the day, it was a box, right? Big up Futurism. Excellent picture of me back in the day. But back in the day, it was always a box, but I need to change it. I need something different. I need something else to kind of spruce up my look. It can't just be a box every fucking day. So I might have to go for a fucking one level or something, because I'm getting annoyed with this haircut, man. Honestly, I fucking hate it. And I also want my mustache to grow too. My mustache doesn't grow. For some reason, this grows at the bottom. I get a lot of beard. I've got a lot of beard hair, like on the bottom of my chin. But for some reason, the mustache area doesn't seem to grow as thick as everything else, which also makes it hard to fucking fix up anything going on. But yeah, fingers crossed I get it sorted out. Fingers crossed I get it sorted out. Moving on. Let's talk about this. This is pretty crazy, isn't it? Pretty epic news here, courtesy of Twitter. Nike wins a ruling against StockX on counterfeit sales. A New York federal court has granted Nike a partial summary judgment in their lawsuit against StockX, confirming that StockX has sold 37 pairs of counterfeit Nike sneakers. However, the ruling is specific to those cases and does not imply that all Nike products sold on StockX are counterfeit. The broader issues in the lawsuit, including claims of false advertising, are still going to trial. Now, this is a really big case and a big win for Nike, because there was a moment where I thought Nike were going to be forced to reveal how they can tell what shoe is real and what shoe isn't. I'm not sure how they got out of it, but I was wondering what that would look like. But this is also a reminder to everybody out there that buys sneakers, please be careful, especially on StockX. I would go as far as saying, if you miss out on a drop for sneakers on the day, like if you miss out on a drop on sneakers on the day, you're better off just missing it out completely. Don't bother even trying getting it, like, you know, on the secondary market. If you can't get it, if you enter as many raffles as possible, which is what I would advise, try your best, go on sneakers app, you know, set up a bunch of email addresses. But if you don't win it, try to buy something second on a second-hand market, on a second market, you know, basically on fucking resale sites like StockX, you're really rolling the dice. The only way you will work is if you go to like sneaker communities. There's like pages and groups on like Facebook. I'm sure there's some pages on Instagram from collectors who'll show you receipts of the shoe and where they backdoored it from. That's the only way to do it. But if you're gonna buy blindly on StockX, I swear to God, you are playing with fire. Because nowadays, the fucking resale market, the rep market is so littered with good quality stuff, it's almost impossible to tell the difference. Like, I always wondered how they did tell the difference, because unfortunately, Nike's own quality standards are really shoddy and shit. So sometimes you look at a shoe and think it's fake, and it's not. Like, there's been occasions, I think, especially with like certain Jordan 4s, certain Jordan 1s. I think even Travis Scott 1s for the same part. There were certain Travis Scott 1s that came out of China, Shenzhen, in terms of like rep factories and stuff, that were of better quality than the retails you got from fucking Nike. Travis Scott Jordans. If you bought them from China, and you could buy them for like, and the good thing I think about replicas is that even the best, no, what I like about replica market is this. There's different grades. So if you want the best grade of a replica shoe, that's basically a 1-for-1, you have to pay retail for it, essentially. By the time you calculate shipping and everything, it's basically retail. But the benefit is that you get to choose and buy them whenever you want. And there's plentiful levels of stock. But then those shoes are undiscernible from the authentic thing. Some replica sites even sell the hang tag, the little paper thing that you get from StockX, and for you to put it in your box. So if you want to resell it on StockX, they give you all the necessary, documents and stuff for you to fucking scam somebody on StockX. That's how crazy the fucking replica game has got. So you can buy something with retail, get all the sizes that you want. It's usually higher quality than Nike. And if you want to resell it and run a game, you can do it because they give you the fucking StockX hang tag and everything else that goes on there. And that was a big business, something that I missed out on, and I kind of regret it, but I don't, because I'm also not the person that would get a lot of pleasure out of scamming people like that and duping them into thinking they're buying a real thing when they're not buying a real thing. But I remember during the pandemic, when everyone was bored and at home and had loads of money and didn't know what to do with it, people were buying a lot of shoes. And I remember that was one of the big hustles. People were buying shoes on StockX, so on like from China replica factories, and then flipping them on StockX for crazy amounts of money. Like, I think it was around the same time people were like hustling NFTs. People made bank off of that. Bank. And I would say there's probably a large amount of shoes on StockX right now to this day, especially stuff that isn't super limited, to this day, that's probably replicas. A bunch of stuff, a bunch of shit that's on there is probably replicas to this day. Like, I'd imagine, like, what's her name? I'd imagine a lot of that Grace Wells Bonner stuff, because a lot of that stuff has been repped. I'd imagine a lot of the Grace Wells Bonner Sambas are probably replicas on fucking StockX. Just off the top of my head, I'd imagine. I'd imagine a bunch of Travis Scott Jordans, especially the fragment ones, are probably fucking replicas up there on StockX. It's really impossible to sort of siphon through and sift through what is real, what isn't real, which is why I do respect immensely the guys and girls out there who can sniff out, you know, literally reps from authentic shoes, because it's almost impossible nowadays. Back in the day, it was a lot easier because reps were kind of basically like, you know, were basically B grades in a way in terms of their quality. But nowadays, it's almost impossible to discern between a real shoe and a fake shoe. So that's why if you've got money and you want to buy something, try your best to buy it on release day. Nowadays, especially, there's no excuse to miss release days. There's a bunch of pages out there you can follow, like Drop Day and Sneaker Shopping, I think, and a few other, you know, Instagram accounts, like news accounts, like Just Fresh Kicks, sorry, Over and Under, Modern Notoriety. There's a bunch of pages you can follow. Cake Not Crumbs, all these pages, right, that always give you details and dates on what's dropping. Go on there, enter the raffles, all that sort of shit. Try and buy it in the week that it's launched. If you miss that, avoid it, because if you try and buy it again from somebody else, the likelihood of you buying a fucking replica is super high. So let's quickly read some of these court documents here, courtesy of Just Fresh Kicks. I think it's just the first page of the lawsuit, which they I think summarized here. Let's quickly see what they say. United States District Court, Nike Inc. versus StockX, Valerie Caparini judge. Whereas on March 4th, the parties appeared in oral argument, it is hereby ordered that on the reasons of the court set forth at oral argument, at Nike's motion of a partial summary judgment is granted to the extent it seeks a judgment that StockX is liable for distributing counterfeit goods with respect to the 4 pairs of shoes it sold on Nike's investigation and the 33 pairs of shoes it sold to Roy Kim. Nike's motion is denied in all respects, and StockX's motion is denied in its entirety. The clerk in the judgment respectfully directed to terminate the open case. It is further ordered that the parties must meet and confer regarding trial no later than the 13th, no later than Friday, March 14th. The parties must also file a joint letter indicating how long the expected trial will be and providing 3 mutually convenient dates of the trial between June 15th and November 15th. But no during the last week of August. The joint letter must also indicate whereas the parties like to be renewed, referral to their assigned magistrate judge for the settlement conference. So it's big news. I still want to see if StockX can force Nike to divulge how they discern between replica and fakes, personally, because that will inform a lot of people's decision-making process in terms of buying. It will also tip off the replica factories on what to look for and what to kind of try to avoid when producing replicas. I want to see that. I want to see if that's possible going forward. I doubt it, but I would love to see that if it's possible. Moving on up. Jamie Carragher sat down on CBS Sports Global and addressed his very controversial, I would say racist comments regarding Mo Salah's inability to win the Ballon d'Or because he plays for Egypt. Very dumb, very bigoted, very uninformed view of how world football is and how certain people view certain tournaments. Maybe if you are being somewhat forgiving, you would say the reason why he said that was kind of just wanting to be brutally honest about Mo Salah's possibilities of winning the Ballon d'Or. But I still think a player playing like Mo Salah at his level, playing for Liverpool, banging in the goals that he does, you know, pushing them to win the Premier League, maybe even pushing them to win the Champions League, and he also wins the AFCON, why wouldn't that increase his chances to win the fucking Ballon d'Or? Why wouldn't it, you know? And if you're saying the Ballon d'Or, if you're saying AFCON isn't as prestigious or doesn't give you clout as much as any other tournament, then that's you being racist, because couple competitions like the Copa Libertadores are somehow rated higher than the AFCON when the standard of football is probably the same, and the Euros is fucking boring compared to the World Cup. So that doesn't make any complete sense. And also, if a player, you know, comes from a nation where they're not the strongest internationally, does that also mean that they're never going to win the fucking Ballon d'Or? That doesn't make any sense either. So let's hear Jamie Carragher try to address his comments. Essentially, all he needs to do in this reply is apologize. That's all he needs to do. But knowing Jamie Carragher, knowing how narcissistic, knowing how ego-driven he is, and knowing how much of a downright cunt he is, he's probably not going to apologize. But what he should do is apologize and just say, yep, I misread it. I apologize for my statements. They were obviously rude. They were obviously disrespectful to the tournament. I obviously hold it up in esteem. I was just sharing my opinion on what I think Mo Salah's chance of winning the thing is. But it doesn't mean AFCON is not a celebrated tournament. But let's hear how he approaches it.
It is good to be here with everybody because we had worried that some of us may be cancelled in the meantime since the last show that we were together. Not to joke.
By the way, I like how Henry's not smiling. I like how Michael's gone quiet too. They're not smiling. No one's saying anything. He should have been cancelled. By the way, how did he not get cancelled for spitting at that girl's face? That's the greatest example of white privilege. Jamie Carragher and Luke Shaw being at Man United. Those are two examples of white privilege. Like how is Luke Shaw still at Man United with his fucking crazy injury record? It's nearly 10 years. I think it might be 10 years this year. And how did Jamie Carragher keep his job at Sky Sports after spitting, phlegm, and all sorts at a fucking fan when they drive by him in a fucking car? Because you got annoyed at some of the questioning, or you got annoyed at being teased. So he decided to hurl some phlegm at some young girl as they're driving by him in a car. How did he get away with that? Honestly, white privilege is real.
About it. We do want to address the whole AFCON issue, Jamie, because you have caused some offence, or a good deal of offence, since we were last together. You basically, just to set the scene, you were talking about Mo Salah and the probability or not of him winning the Ballon d'Or, and you said that it would be difficult for him because he isn't playing in a major tournament. And
even when she says it, big up Kate Abdo, even when she says it, it sounds horrible. Even when she just summarizes it. He can't win a major tournament because he doesn't. He can't win the Ballon d'Or because he doesn't play in a major tournament. Like what? So because he's African, he can't win the Ballon d'Or. It doesn't count because he's not playing for he's not from a European nation. He's not representing France. Like he's not representing Germany. He's not representing Switzerland or something. He's not representing fucking, God forbid, England. He can't win a major. He can't win a Ballon d'Or because he plays for Egypt. Honestly, man, what a fucking cunt.
That was seen as kind of dismissive or disrespectful of AFCON. Is there anything that you would like to say to kind of address the offence that was caused to, I guess, the African community in some way?
Well, what I would say is you know me better than anybody.
Oh, he's going for that. I've got black friends. He's going for the defence. Like, Kate, you're mixed. You're a bit black, right? You're a bit mulatto. You got a bit of cocoa. You got a bit of cocoa powder in you. I'm nice to you, aren't I? Michael, I'm nice to you, and you're black as fuck.
Joe, and I've got very strong opinions on the game. I love debate, and that will never change. But what I would never want to be described as a pundit would be ignorant or disrespectful. So that was never, my aim. And whether that's to a player, a club, a country, a continent, an international tournament, whatever that may be. So what I would say is where I got it wrong.
Can you just apologise for what you said, you fucking cunt? It's not that difficult. Just apologize and say sorry. How difficult is that? How difficult is it to just apologize? How difficult is it just to say sorry? Honestly, how difficult? How difficult? Honestly, please tell me. Yo, big up Carlton Littleton. Appreciate you, brother. Big up Carlton. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. We are back. Appreciate you, Carlton. Appreciate you, Carlton.
I was clumsy with my language. In describing
clumsy with my language. Fuck off.
AFCON is not a major tournament. I was trying to explain the merits of Mo Salah winning the Ballon d'Or, as you've just said. And
you know what's funny about this, by the way? He's talking about Mo Salah, a player that plays for his boyhood club, Liverpool, and he's being disrespectful. He's dumbing down his star. He's pouring cold water on his possibility of winning the Ballon d'Or. You think a boyhood Liverpool fan like Jamie Carragher will be running all sorts of propaganda for Salah to win the Ballon d'Or, right? He'd be pushing that narrative super hard. But he's such a hater, right? He's so miserable. He's such a cunt. He can't even run propaganda for his own star player of the club that he loves and adores. Absolutely wild.
I felt or feel that not just AFCON, I would say, the Asia Games, the Gold Cup, not so much the Copa America, but there's 5 major tournaments out there besides the World Cup that are for their continent and obviously a major tournament. But some of them don't resonate with the people who vote for the Ballon d'Or. And that for me was not an opinion. That was like a fact in terms of looking who'd won the Ballon d'Or over the last sort of 40, 50 years. So Yes, I've been banging the drum for Mo Salah to become the first African player to win the Ballon d'Or for, I think since George Weah in the mid-90s. And as I said, I should have been a lot tidier with my language around that. So, yes, that's something that I look at. But as I said, you do look at sort of...
That's something I look at. Say sorry, you cunts. Say sorry. I shouldn't have been so disrespectful to the cup competition. I shouldn't have diminished or dismissed its relevancy or its importance to a whole group of people and to a nation of people, right? Like, that's what you need to say. Just say fucking sorry. This fucking guy, man.
The Euros where it's at right now and other competitions, and some of them resonate with the Ballon d'Or voters.
Look at Henry's face. Look at Henry's face. Fucking brilliant. Great TV. Look at Henry's face. Look at Mike Richards' face. Looking at this guy. Look at him. He just can't say sorry, can he? People that refuse to say sorry and stand by this, I have strong opinions thing. It's like, yeah, you can have strong opinions, but when you get it wrong, when you do a little bit of an oopsie, when you step your foot in it, just say sorry. It's not that difficult, really. Everyone moves on. It's not that difficult. Most people aren't saying he's a racist. I am, because I want to be inflammatory. But most people don't think Jamie Carragher is racist. They just think what he said was incredibly ignorant. All you need to say is sorry. It's not that difficult.
With the Ballon d'Or voters, who at times are journalists, national coaches, national captains. And one of the reasons might be because I think sometimes we forget the Ballon d'Or is was the European Footballer of the Year. So maybe the...
Look at him trying to educate us on why racism is okay. Look at him trying to educate us on why it's okay to think an African player has no chance of winning the Ballon d'Or because they play for an African nation. Fuck off.
A bias towards maybe the Euros or European football in the past. So it was definitely not my aim to offend anybody. I know I've done that a lot in the past in different guises, shall we say, but maybe...
Stop laughing. We're not joking. We're not laughing with you. We're not laughing. We're not joking. We don't find you funny. We don't find you amusing. Just apologize and move on, you prick.
Different players or teams, but that was certainly not the case. And yes, hopefully that's now addressed then.
Mm. Would you like to share any thoughts on the Gold Cup before we go?
Honestly, fucking hate him. Anyway, at least he addressed it and tried to say sorry in a roundabout way. That was his way of saying sorry, basically. But I'm glad that people like John Obi Mikel, actually, let me get that clip up, actually. Let's see if I can get that. John Obi Mikel absolutely went in on him. That was really good to fucking see. John Obi Mikel, and then we can continue on, had some very strong words to say about Jamie Carragher. I think he said it the best, actually, and then we can move on from there. But fuck Jamie Carragher, man. We're not really messing with that guy. Big up Izanella. That accent is Liverpudlian. He's from Liverpool. He is from Liverpool. That's the accent where it sounds like he's got phlegm in his mouth. It sounds like he's about to spit. But lovely people, though. I went to Liverpool recently, a few months ago. Lovely people, man. One of my favorite places to go to in the UK. Great nights out, great people, great vibe, great restaurants, great bars. Really fun place to go. Manchester, Liverpool, anywhere outside London, basically. It's super fun on a night out, as opposed to fucking London. Yeah, here he goes. Here's John Obi Mikel. Big up John Obi Mikel. Big up John Obi Mikel laying it down on fucking Carragher and telling him to fuck off, which I love in his accent.
You know what I mean? So, yes, so many excuses, but listen, we talk about it again. We talk about you can't sit there. There's so many kids growing up. We talk about inclusion as well. Yeah. This is about, we only talk about inclusion in society, talk about inclusion in the world. And we're trying to change things like that in the world. The perception of people. This doesn't help when somebody like you that has a massive following that sits there in one of the biggest, platform in the world and make comments like this, and you talk about inclusion.
Exactly.
Because you think the Euros is more better because of what?
Yeah. Exactly.
There is no escape to this. I just think his statement is so bad. And again, I've said it, because the African Cup of Nations is as big. I don't care what you say, because I've played in it. I've won it. I've won it.
Big boy.
It's not his fucking place to discredit the African Cup of Nations. It's not his fucking place.
Agreed.
Yeah. I can see you're angry. And a lot of
I am fucking angry. And it's because
he
spent so many years playing for Liverpool. He didn't win the Premier League. And he sits there week in, week out, telling people, teaching, coaching, trying to tell people how to win the Premier League.
Exactly.
And you haven't won it. To all African people, to all fucking
Big
African
up Johnny
people who
Mikel.
tune in, week out, watching the Premier League, watching Sky Sports, watching Sky Sports. One of the biggest in the world.
Yeah.
I know how Africans don't have money to eat.
Exactly.
They're starving. But what happens? They watch the fucking Premier League.
Exactly.
They watch you on the weekend.
Exactly.
And you sit there, open your mouth, and discredit the whole fucking African continent, saying your African nations tournament is shit. It's shit. That it has no value because it's not Euros or the Copa America.
Exactly.
He can fuck off.
Thank God. Thank someone said that.
He can fuck off.
Say it again.
I'm
Fuck
telling
off.
you.
I love it.
Because we know in Africa what we bring to the Premier League, what the players that come into the Premier League bring to the Premier League from Africa. The players that have played in this tournament, that have come out, represented Africa boldly. Some of the best. Starting from George Ware, who's won the Ballon d'Or, by the way.
Last African.
He's African.
Only African.
He's African.
And you look at the players, John.
Big up Johnny Mikel. That's all that needs to be said. Also, big up the host of this show on the Obi-Wan show. I don't know his name. Apologies. But big up the host for giving Johnny Mikel the room to rant. I think he was trying to get some questions out there and he realized how fucking hot Johnny Mikel was. And he just gave him the platform to just rant and go fucking crazy. Big up that guy for noticing what was going on and not fucking interjecting just for the sake of interjecting and letting him say what he's saying. I fucking loved it. But again, like I said, it's a confusing stance to have because Jamie Carragher is a Liverpool legend and Mo Salah is currently playing for his boyhood club. So it's like, why are you trying your best to diminish Mo Salah's opportunity to win the Ballon d'Or? Because surely you would know, with the Ballon d'Or being as political as it is, I'm sure that Jamie Carragher knows that part of the Ballon d'Or win is the propaganda, is the narratives that get run around it. So he can help Mo Salah's chances of winning it by talking glowingly about how good of a player he is, by waxing lyrical about his performances, about his goals. All those things are going to contribute, I think, or benefit when it comes to the voting. Now, is it likely he'll win it? Probably not, considering the competition out there, maybe. But he should be in contention for it, for definitely. But even because, I support Man United and I fucking hate Liverpool. But even I can say if he puts up the numbers he's meant to at the end of the season and gets Liverpool to win the Champions League and the Premier League in his last season at the club, then you have to fucking consider him for the Ballon d'Or. And Jamie Carragher could really help one of the newer legends of the club do so. But maybe part of it is like these older dudes not really wanting some of these newer guys coming up playing for the clubs they used to play for actually winning stuff like that, because it would eclipse some of the stuff that he's done. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe there's like a subconsciously some of these players like a Jamie Carragher don't really want Mo Salah to win the Ballon d'Or, because if he does, it might completely erase or push further back in time his era when he was at Liverpool. He won a Champions League, I think, Carragher at Liverpool, but I don't think he won the Premier League. So maybe it'll push back that narrative. So maybe part of it is like, hey, let's maybe keep pouring cold water on this guy's achievements so that people can maybe look back at rose-tinted glasses at my time and long for my return, or players like me return back at the club. That could be a thing. I don't know. But I just find it interesting how other people, myself included, Johnny Mikel, are standing up for Mo Salah way more than fucking he is. I find that fucking incredible. I find that absolutely incredible. Before we continue, let me just quickly, I need to update this alert box. For some reason it's going absolutely crazy. Let me see if it works now. I'm gonna update this alert box and make sure it's working correctly, and then we can continue on. Cool. Okay, boom bang bing, we are done with that one. Let's roll on. Let's also copy this a little bit. Boom boom boom. If you're enjoying the show, make sure you like the stream down below and all that other stuff in between. That'd be greatly appreciated. And then we can continue on. Okay, cool. Moving on, I also want to talk about this quickly. This is about PlaqueBoyMax sitting down with Fred again. PlaqueBoyMax does these streams. Obviously, I know some of you guys are aware of them, where he does these live music making, producing streams with rappers and shit. Well, he's in England now, and he's doing a bunch of streams in England with artists. I think he's meant to be linking up with Central C. He's got this one that he did with Fred again, which is super cool. And it really is a clash of cultures. You know, it's a clash of cultures to see Fred again sitting down with PlaqueBoyMax, because you see Fred again rocking up into the studio with the quintessential Londoner UK person carrier bag, a black carrier bag, which is what we get from our local off licenses where they sell beer and stuff. And he's also carrying a Kronenberg, which is a drink that I used to fucking love drinking on nights out. This is classic Britain meeting England. Oh no, Britain meeting fucking America. I love this fucking meeting of the cultures. Let's press play.
Yo!
Jesus, it's light. What's good, brother?
What's up?
Oh,
Max, nice to meet you.
what's up, Blake? This is Bowen.
What's up?
Kronenberg in
Can y'all
hand.
say what's up to Fred? Alright, hold on.
Fred Against looks like he's been up for 17 hours, by the way, or 100 million days, but he's got the little, you know, newsagent's black plastic bag there, Kronenberg tinny in hand. I love to see it.
Oh my damn, this seat is kind of low, bro.
That's alright.
Nah, I got you. I'm finna boost it up.
Do you want a Guinness or
It's these little office seats. Damn.
How was the London day trip?
It was good. I'm gonna be honest, bro. The biggest thing I was scared about coming to London, I'm gonna tell you the three things. The first thing I was scared about was the weather.
Yeah.
Because our hair is super cold.
Yeah.
2, was the food. But I had Lebanese grill and it was good.
Okay.
Lebanese grill was hitting. It was hitting. And then 3 was the AC. I heard y'all don't have AC in the house, but I'm staying at a hotel. So
That was the concern. The concern was AC.
nah, yes, I'm
Well,
not
then
gonna
you were
lie. I'm
worried it was
super
gonna be-
prestigious. I'm gonna be honest, bro.
That's definitely a difference in culture, isn't it? Like, we don't care a fuck about AC, and it happens every year. Every person that's listening to my voice that's from the UK or from London knows this. It's a constant conversation you have yourself, whether or not you should buy an air conditioning unit, whether or not you should buy a fan, and, you know, especially this summer, and then what happens? You don't buy it, you just push through it, you just lay down on your bed like a starfish, you just reduce your movements when you're in your crib, and you just grin and bear it. But normal people probably should have some sort of air conditioning unit in the house. But the problem that we have with air conditioning units, especially in workspaces, I've found, they make you really sick because they're either really bad or they're really cold. So imagine that drop in temperature. You're going outside and it's like fucking Bali with no wind, with no breeze, with no clouds, just straight heat hitting you in the back of your head. Then you're walking into work and they've got fucking the air conditioning on, you know, max cold Antarctica shit, and then your dropping temperatures making you get ill. And that's why usually in the summer there's a bunch of people in the office or workplace or whatever you were at who are fucking coughing and sneezing all over the place. I fucking hate it. But yeah, air conditioning is a myth in the UK.
You were worried it was going to be too hot.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna be sweating, bro. Like when I be sleeping, I like to get under the blankets. You feel me?
Yeah, you don't have that issue over here in the UK, bro. You don't have that issue over here in the UK. But they did make a really good fucking. They did make a really cool tune that I'm gonna play here actually. And again, it reminded me of just how awesome Fred again is. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not mad at Fred again. Whereas I think this is the one. I like the one with Doechii. This track here he made with Doechii, I think is incredibly hard. So big up Fred again. Let me play this clip here where he makes a tune on the spot, sampling Doechii's track "Swamp Bitches" featuring what's her name? Featuring Rico Nasty. It's fucking hard. Go begin. that guy's Ronaldinho jersey in the back is fucking very rare, isn't it? God damn it. I think that might be the one. I don't know what year that was. But yeah, that's very rare. The neon fucking Barcelona fucking jersey in the back there. God damn it, that's hard as fuck. Yeah, honestly, super, super hard. Really enjoyed it. Again, another reminder of just how hard Fred again is. I know he gets, you know, a bad rap, especially in the UK, for being very rich and very privileged and coming from, you know, obscene amounts of wealth. I think his family have a Wikipedia page, you know, his dad's and, you know, his ancestors have blue links all over Wikipedia, you know, real wealth shit. But what you can't deny is the kid is talented. Again, the music bit is not for me personally, but I love his stage shows. I love his performances. I love his concerts in arenas. I love his intimate shows that he does. I remember I saw a video of him performing somewhere at the side of a lake, a canal, somewhere in Scandinavia, just performing an impromptu live set with people sitting on the ground, watching him from the boats passing by, chilling on the bridge as he's playing these amazing songs and singing and whatever. Like, fucking great. Honestly, really, really amazing performer, really amazing artist. And I think doesn't get the credit he deserves because of his rich background. You know, the really unfortunate thing about Fred again is that although he comes from a posh background, it's not as if he carries himself like a wanker. You know, he's not like a posh wanker or anything. He carries himself pretty standard, like chill. He kind of reminds you of the guy from Boiler Room who used to own it. He's also kind of, I think his name is Blaze or something. I think he also comes from wealth and whatever. But whenever I bumped into him in real life, he was always nice, you know, chill kind of. If anything, maybe his girlfriend, I forgot what her name is. She was the one maybe a bit standoffish, a bit rude. But I remember that Blaze guy was always super safe. So I think sometimes these guys who come from privileged backgrounds get given a bad rap just because they come from money. You know, hating someone just because they come from money is really lame. Maybe give them a reason. Maybe they let them give you a reason to hate them, because of how they act and because of their personality and because of their behavior and because of their character. But just hating them because their parents or their ancestors made a ton of money is unfair, especially when they're contributing so much back to like the scene and shit, right? In Fred again, being an artist, putting on these fun raves, connecting people. You know, I've seen a bunch of people on the Fred again subreddit who kind of have met their fucking future wives and husbands going to fucking Fred again shows. The Blaze guy, I feel like gets a lot of hate, but really and truly created Boiler Room, a platform that has broken and made a bunch of careers. Whether or not they pay people or not wasn't really that important to me. I never really understood that debate. I thought that was really kind of small-minded and really narrow-minded for people to demand payment from Boiler Room. I think like Boiler Room is one of their rare places. Even like it may be similar to Stream, this PlaqueBoyMax stream. I think Boiler Room is one of those rare places where if somebody offers you an opportunity to just go there for the look, you should go there for the look. It's one of those opportunities where you should be okay with them saying exposure is your payment. Most places you shouldn't do that. You should maybe just focus on doing your own thing. But I think Boiler Room is one of those rare places where exposure is important, and it's probably more beneficial than any money they could give you. Especially money that you probably deserve at that moment in time. So I'm a big fan of Fred again. I like him. I like Fred again. I think he gets some unfair stick, but big up Fred again. But another interesting thing about this clip, or about this time, was this confession from PlaqueBoyMax about not wanting to make his own music on stream. Really interesting, because I didn't know this was a thing. I didn't know he started off, because I thought PlaqueBoyMax started off, because he hosts these like clashes where he gets people on and they kind of do these sound clashes over Skype or over fucking Zoom or Discord, which is really sick. I think lately there was a one with DaBaby and he released some freestyle song and it was fucking killer. By the way, big up DaBaby, one of the hardest working musicians out there at the moment. He's fucking killing it. But I didn't know that he actually sits there and makes his own music on stream too, which is a really odd thing to do, because making music is a very singular, private sort of thing. And it's also hard to kind of get it across on stream and make it fun, because you're maybe spending a bunch of time over obsessing over a loop, over a hi-hat, over some chords, over a string, over a bass, you know? Things that don't really probably hit that well on stream. But on this particular clip, PlaqueBoyMax says he doesn't want to make his own music on stream anymore because of the chat, basically. The chat trolls him too much and there's too much hate. And I guess it kind of puts him in a bad mood. He doesn't like making the music, which is an interesting thing to hear from somebody as a professional streamer, to be fair.
I'm gonna be honest, shit, I don't like making music on stream no more, bro. I don't know if I told y'all this, but like if I have artists come on, like for example, when DDG came on or How I Make Four Doors, I don't like making music on stream no more. I'm gonna be honest, bro. Okay, imagine you trying to paint a picture. Imagine you painting something, or like anything you're doing, and then it's just like you have thousands of niggas trying to critique your art while you're trying to even figure it out. You know? Yeah, it's. And I'm a streamer, so like when I'm making this shit, of course I want to entertain the chat and like talk with them. But like now it's like I'm at the point like it's like it'd be hard. You feel me? I'd be way more focused when I'm just by myself. So yeah, and it's just more fun. I'm gonna be honest. I love y'all though. Like you feel me? I'm of course make it when people come on, etc. But like yeah, it's just kind of like it'd be nerve wracking for me. I'm gonna be honest. Like you feel.
Damn, and it's completely it's different from like the DJ world. Because I feel like live stream DJ sets, you're not really even engaging with the fucking chat. You're just doing your set. Maybe sometimes when I'm doing my streams at Pirate, I might quickly glance over the chat, but it kind of takes away from the performance, and I feel like I'm cheating the performance by nipping away and checking the chat, you know? And also people think you're fucking doing tons of fucking gear because you're nipping away from the camera, but I'm actually just double checking the chat. But it wouldn't really bother me if I was playing and I saw a mad comment. Wouldn't really bother me in the slightest. But it must be odd when you're making music, because making music is completely different from DJing. You're creating something from scratch, essentially. And it's kind of your baby, right? And you're putting a lot into it. And people feel way more attached to the music they make over a DJ set. You definitely feel a lot more possessive over it. You feel like it's your thing. And you will take any disrespect about what you do very personally. You're not going to take it well at all in the slightest. So I understand what he means, but it's even weirder, like I said, because this guy is a professional streamer. He's a very popular one. He's been killing it lately. As you can see down below, he's got 37,000 fucking subscribers on his Twitch, which I'm assuming must be a lot of money. Let me see if he has one tier only. What is 499 times 37,117? What is that? God damn it! He's nearly making $200,000 a month on fucking Twitch or streaming, whatever he's doing. So, but he's doing this also professionally. Probably does it every single day, and even he's getting downtrodden. He's getting fucking bad vibes from the trolls and the stream chat and stuff. So it goes to show you that even the people who are doing it at a professional level, it's still difficult to balance those type of things and not take things what people say on stream chat personally. I think I'm different. I think I've been helped because of my years of being on, chat rooms and forums and stuff. I'm a little bit more numb to it. It doesn't really affect me as it probably would most people. But I also don't get as much engagement and whatever as much as he does. Maybe it's a whole different thing when it's like, thousands of people in the chat and it's running at super fast volumes and everyone's fucking throwing swear words at you and, insulting your art. It's maybe different, but I truly do think growing up in the most toxic, time on the internet, back in the day with message boards, Call of Duty rooms, the early days, all that sort of malarkey has fucking strengthened me, has given me a hardened shell where I'm really, I'm not susceptible to feeling down or whatever if somebody says something mean to me online. It doesn't bother me in the slightest.
Feel me? Just being transparent. I know I normally be trying you feel me? But that should be nerve wracking, so I don't really like doing that shit. But
damn.
Yeah.
No, facts, bro. I hear it.
You feel me though?
Nah, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn shit.
Cause I've grown a lot, and it's it's way more niggas in my. You feel me? I just like to make this shit. Cause you make music for yourself. You know what I'm saying? To enjoy it, just cause you enjoy it. That's why I do it. So yeah. I mean, I'ma still release my shit. I'm super excited for y'all to hear this shit. But yeah, I just kind of, you feel me? It's a little different. I love y'all though. But yeah, that's why when y'all be spamming yo, hop on this I'll be ignoring y'all sometimes, you feel me? I'd rather just do it, I wouldn't say no more FL streams ever, but I would say, I want to get to a place where, that shit don't affect me. Because I'm going to be honest, when I be making this shit, I be, also reading chat, too. I'm trying to stream and make music. Whereas when I make music off stream, I can just focus on making the best product possible.
This is probably why it's never been a thing before, innit? This maybe explains why he's the first to kind of do it at his level. Because it's really difficult to make music and stream at the same time. It's really difficult. Again, like I said before, with my fucking live stream DJ sets, which are minor, But even I found nodding off and quickly checking the fucking stream chat is hard to do, and it also spoils the fun of the show. But it's just, especially with his level of chats, it's definitely really hard to keep on top of. So I definitely understand his point. I get where he's coming from. It's a real shame that he doesn't feel like he can do it. It's a real shame that he doesn't feel like he can do it. Moving on, want to mention this quickly, that I saw this courtesy of the DJs subreddit as well. One of my favorite subreddits that I've kind of discovered in recent years. This features Bushwacka talking on his fucking Facebook, and John Digweed replying regarding DJs who don't dance in a DJ booth, which is something that I used to have a big problem with back in the day. But I feel like now, as I've matured over the years, I have less of an issue with it. So let's hear what John Digweed has to say about DJs who don't dance in the DJ booth. So Bushwacka says as follows: DJs who don't dance when DJing, explain your reasons for this. The ones who don't even nod their heads to the music, pray tell, are you enjoying the moment too? Not a criticism, more of a curiosity. John Digweed replies, hi Matthew, every DJ should be different and should have their own individual style of playing. I love that what I do passionately, but I didn't dance when I started, so I doubt I'll start now. I remember a tweet from Kevin Yost from Miami Music Week back in 2012 that sticks in my memory, saying, I have just walked into a room and just seen 500 people standing still taking videos of a DJ dancing. I want a club full of dancers, not photographers. I really agree with that, but my point of view is this: as I've gotten older, I've gotten to appreciate DJs who perform seriously, like DJs who approach their DJ sets like they're approaching a live set, like they're playing in a band, like they're going on tour, like they're performing at Madison Square Garden, O2 Arena. Like I prefer those type of DJs now, and those type of DJs by and large are the ones who are like me, don't drink or smoke or do any drugs before their sets, which is a pretty hard and fast rule that I've had ever since I've been playing in fucking pubs similar to like Weatherspoons and shit, right? Playing in pubs for tokens and £100, £50, whatever. I've always had like pretty hard and fast rule that I don't get on it when I'm playing. When I'm finished, it's a whole nother story, right? We're gonna be on the fucking multivitamin super hard, but I really believe in, no matter what level you're at, whether you're playing in a fucking cocktail bar, whether you're playing at an all bar one, whether you're playing in a fucking park, whether you're playing in a warehouse, a big club, a festival, you should approach your sets professionally. And by professionally, it means that you shouldn't indulge yourself in the booze and the drugs, and you should approach it with a clear mind to give the fans and the people there who are there to maybe watch you or discover you or just waste time and fuck around, whatever they're doing, the people that are around you, the dancers, the ravers, to give them as best a show as possible. And as Joey Diaz mentioned in a couple of shows of the Joey Diaz podcast back in the day, Church What's Happening Right Now, ages ago, I remember him mentioning something about the same thing about stand-up comedy and about how he had a hard and fast rule even when he was doing a bunch of blow and he was addicted to it. I think he's super sober now. But back in the day, Joey Diaz would say like he would always have like an 8 ball in his pocket burning a hole in it, but he would never do anything before the show because he realized that when he did do it before the show, it kind of numbed you from being sensitive to the environment around you. And as a comedian, maybe similar somewhat to a DJ, I don't really think it is, but let's just say it is for the sake of this argument. You're basically, it's a call and response. Yes, you've got your set. Yes, you know what you want to speak about. Yes, you've got your points you want to hit, your jokes that you want to fucking go on. But you're also, you know, malleable to how the crowd reacts to you. And how are you going to be malleable? How are you going to be sensitive and aware of what the crowd is on when you're fucked up? Because that gives you a bit of a shield, or it makes you unaware of how people are feeling, right? Which is why somebody usually, when you're on the drugs and stuff, you're usually a bit reckless and a little bit more, you know, flying by the seat of your pants. But because of that, I also then appreciate DJs who just don't dance, who just do their own thing in the booth. Because the dancing thing, to be fair, the people that overly dance in the booth are also the people who are trying super hard to compensate for their lack of ability to play or their lack of good taste when it comes to the music, you know, in general. It feels a little bit like that. Like when people are overly expressive and jumping around and doing all sorts of nonsense and backflips that isn't congruent to who they are as a person. I feel like when it's congruent to who you are as a person, I think that stuff works way better. Like a good example is Patrick Mason. As much as people don't like that guy, I think how he performs on the stage is how you would see him on the dance floor. Like, I don't think Patrick Mason hams it up behind the booth. I don't think so. I think that person that you see behind the booth being all dramatic and having these extravagant dance routines and poses and contorting his body and twisting and jumping on the stage, on the fucking table, I think that same person will be the same person you see in the fucking dance floor. Same goes for that other guy. I forgot his name, but the Italian DJ who went viral many years ago, performing at, I think, an EDM party. I forgot which one it was, the big EDM rave, where he would be dancing on top of the stage and doing all sorts of weird, crazy fucking, you know, routines and, you know, motioning to the cameras and looking at the screen. I think there are some people where you can tell, okay, this is their personality. Some people are hamming up, especially now in the era of like DJ live streams, in the era of like Instagram clips of DJ mixes and stuff, where people are trying to go viral. People are obviously hamming it up and exaggerating things for the sake of going viral. So it's easy to tell who's in it for real and who's faking the funk. But like I said, I appreciate the ones who don't do it, because that temptation must be super strong. So if you're not dancing, if you're not being super expressive behind the booth, it's because it's just not you. And most likely as well, if you're honest too, that it's a high probability that the person who doesn't dance behind the booth is probably a better DJ than the person that's super dancey and fucking crazy behind the booth and drinking and hugging a bunch of girls and all this sort of nonsense. That is what I would imagine. That's probably a hard and fast word. If you see a DJ dancing behind the booth and going crazy, 9 times out of 10 they're going to be shit. 9 times out of 10. So I do appreciate John Digweed's comments, and I feel like he was super spot on with what he said here about, you know, everyone having their own style. And I think it's really on point too to say that, what would you rather? Would you rather, because I remember actually I saw a clip of it recently. I think I saw a clip of Charlotte DeWitt. It might have been Charlotte DeWitt. I think I saw a clip of Charlotte DeWitt playing somewhere. And again, it's pretty unfair because she's really popular. She's maybe one of the most famous DJs in the world. But she was playing somewhere at some sort of outdoor venue, and hardly anyone was dancing. Everyone was just standing there taking videos of her dancing behind the booth. And it almost looked like some sort of like exhibition thing. As if she was like dancing for the crowd, for their entertainment. And they were there watching her dance. Like, they were getting off on it. Like, okay, this is fun. We'd love to see her having a good time. But none of them were dancing themselves in the crowd, which is really strange. So that must be disconcerting. And I think I mentioned it prior about Keinemusik. Like, I respect Keinemusik a lot, because a lot of the raves that they go to, they're full of people just wanting to get pictures, wanting to fucking record a moment. They're not really there to enjoy themselves. So imagine going to rave after rave, booking after booking, and all you see is a sea of people just staring at you blankly. You know, no one's dancing, no two steps, no shuffle, no fucking Harlem shake, no nothing, no fucking techno stomp or techno march. They're just staring at you through their phones or directly. And you have to somehow not make eye contact and keep on dancing, which is probably why some DJs wear sunglasses. Maybe some of them aren't just fucked up and they're trying to hide behind the sunglasses. Maybe some DJs wear sunglasses to avoid locking eye contact with people who are standing right at the front row in front of the decks, locking eye contact, trying to look at them as deep as possible and not dancing, because that must be super awkward. So big up John Digweed, big up Blood Clot John Digweed. Moving on. So let's talk about something else I want to talk about here. Let's get the other page on there. There we go. So next thing I wanted to mention was Doechii. Big up Blood Clot Doechii. Big up Blood Clot Doechii. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Doechii's music. I'm not going to lie. Doechii's music's not really for me. And I still think her Grammy win, or no, her Grammy win was maybe a little bit undeserved and smelled a little bit like payola. But I have to be honest, right? I have to be honest and give Doechii a lot of credit that at least she wants it. At least Doechii gives off the feeling, gives off the vibe of somebody that has prepared their whole entire life for this moment to be super famous. And she's not letting up. Ever since that Grammy win, I feel like I keep seeing on my timeline again and again and again and again. It's non-stop. This particular clip features Doechii performing at Denial is a River. Performing a song Denial is a River at the Louvre Pyramid after party. I guess this is a prelude to Paris Fashion Week. Wearing a denim Schiaparelli Fall Winter 2023 outfit. Absolutely incredible, right? So she's absolutely killing it. She's out there in fucking Paris performing in Schiaparelli, absolutely having a fucking blast of a time. So even though I don't rate her music, I have to give her credit for at least enjoying the moment and being real about it and trying to be successful. No, trying to aim for the top and be number one instead of faking the funk and doing this whole like fake. Yeah, this is a performance. Doing like a fake, humility thing that a lot of people do, where they pretend like they don't really want it. They pretend like they're just happy to be here. At least with Doechii, she is super, super on becoming famous. Super, super on being number one in particular. And, you know, every weapon formed against her will fall. And she's taking every opportunity and grabbing them with both hands and running. And I love to see it. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, big up Doechii, man. Honestly, big up Doechii, big up Doechii, big up Doechii. It's so refreshing to see somebody that fucking wants it. It's so refreshing to see someone that wants it. And yeah, man. Like I said, it's just cool. And the funny thing about it is that she's so on point. She's so prepared for this moment. It almost feels like she's an industry plant, but she can't be an industry plant because we've all seen her YouTube videos. We've all seen her YouTube videos where she's looking dusty. She's got fucking natty hair. She's clearly look like she ain't got her hair done in a while. She look like she haven't done any makeup. She's in her room, rapping her heart out, talking about her dreams and aspirations, talking about getting a job, talking about being fired, talking about balancing creativity with having a 9-to-5. Like, we've seen the videos, we've seen the evidence of her grinding and grafting. So even if you want to sit there and say she's an industry plant, you can't. It's just that she's prepared. And I wonder if that's I wonder if that's a big part of the whole industry plant discord, or the discourse around being an industry plant, is that there are some people who are just prepared for the moment. They get there and they're not trying to, like, you know, they're not trying to be shy. They're not trying to play second fiddle. They get there and they are ready to make a mark. They're ready to leave an impression. They want people to remember them. They want to leave an indentation on the fucking timeline of creative fucking history. That might be part of the industry plant thing, because I hear some people talking about Doechii being an industry plant. I'm like, that's impossible. We've seen her come up. Like, and I'm not even that familiar with her, and I've even seen her come up. I've seen her try to be a YouTuber, like legitimately making vlogs and shit, documenting her life and stuff, and not getting that many views. And now suddenly look at her fucking shining and, you know, striving and, you know, being outfitted by some of the most famous designers in the world, luxury brands coming after her and stuff, you know, standing in front of the Louvre, looking like a literal doll in amazing dresses and stuff, and just having an absolute blast of a time. And she's been working during Fashion Week. She was out there during fucking Milan Fashion Week, and now she's out there again during Paris Fashion Week. She is working super hard. There's also a tune that's coming out too called Anxiety, which samples somebody that I used to know by Doechii and Kimbra. That's dropping too, that people are really, really hyped on. Yeah, man, she's working, man. Doechii's fucking working. She's not stopping. She's grabbing her moment. She's seizing it with both of her hands, and she's not letting up. And you have to rate it. You have to fucking rate it. So big up Doechii. Again, the music isn't always for me, but I have to rate the hustle. I have to rate the grind. I have to rate somebody that really wants it and isn't shy about saying that she wants it, and isn't trying to pretend that, you know, you want to just be happy just to be there, or playing the whole mental health card, or talking about fucking burnout and all this nonsense. No, you prepared your whole entire life for this. You spent some of your last monies on studio time. You were grafting, grinding, sending a ton of emails to people to listen to your music or to give you an opportunity. Now you've got it. Don't let up. You know what I mean? Don't let up. Don't take your foot off their fucking necks. So it's fucking cool to see Doechii doing that in this particular regard. So big up fucking Doechii. I'm a big fan of her, actually. Her as a person, not even the music.
Okay, so I'm gonna break down this lore to people who don't understand it. So I'm dropping a song called Anxiety. Now, you may be thinking Anxiety already came out. So Sleepy Hollow, amazing artist by the way, he dropped a song called Anxiety where he was sampling my song called Anxiety, but my song is using the sample of somebody I used to know, and then I took that beat, somebody I used to know, and I made my own song on top of it called Anxiety. So then I dropped that song on YouTube, it never hit streaming, and then Sleepy Hollow sampled that, it got approved, and then that song blew up, and now people are finding the original version that I did on YouTube, and that's blowing up on TikTok, and it's anxiety, keep on trying, and now people want me to release the full version, and we're here, and I'm releasing that, and it's coming out, so y'all can enjoy the full version, and that's the lore behind Anxiety.
That's pretty
okay,
cool.
So I'm gonna break down this lore to people who don't understand.
That's pretty cool. And I wonder if her anxiety record would have even got approved if it wasn't for her level of success now. I wonder. Maybe part of the reason why it got approved was because of her level of success now. Obviously, it's been helped by Sleepy Hollow's track obviously going viral on TikTok. But this is one of the reasons why making it super important and why making it helps, because it allows other things to run smoothly. And now suddenly, here she is fucking having a blast. And this video is going viral too on my side of social media. It features her going crazy in the gym. I'm not even sure if it's actually her. Maybe it is actually Doechii. I'm not even sure if it is. But whoever it is, they are going crazy on the Stairmaster and the fucking treadmill, jumping up and down and doing the most crazy bum workouts. Which I've always find funny, because I always find these type of videos hilarious, because these are like black women, right? Like their genetics are incredible. So it's not really going to help if you're a regular person and you try and do these workouts to get the bums that some of these women have. You're not going to get them, you know? This is stuff that's been bred from your genes, stuff that's been bred from years of eating pandu and modessa, losu and modessa, madesu, fufu, kwanga, bondu, all these sort of shits, right? This is where you get that sort of stuff. You don't get these sort of bums and fucking physiques from doing squats or for doing split squats or doing leg raises and push presses. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way, unfortunately. But big up Doechii, same way. Big up Blood Clot Doechii, same way. We love to see it. We fucking love to see it. Big up this article courtesy of Futurism too, that I also wanted to mention, which is a really dystopian and fucking scary thought. Courtesy of Futurism. There is a vape with a tamagotchi inside, and inside it that dies if you stop puffing. Yes, you heard that correctly. There is a vape with a tamagotchi inside it that dies if you stop puffing. This honestly could be a plot in a new episode of Black Mirror or something. This is fucking crazy, crazy shit. So let's read the article here, courtesy of Futurism. Behold the latest dark entity purportedly birthed out of the not-so-brave new world of Tamagotchi, housed inside of a vape that croaks if you stop hitting that sweet, sweet juice. The Tamagotchi in question was apparently presented during a stupid hackathon put on a New York City NYU Tisch School interactive telecommunications program, the Interactive Media Arts Department. There, according to ITP's website, students enrolled in the programs that invited to make something stupid. Do you have an idea so absurd, so utterly useless that it needs to exist? It reads, then welcome to a stupid hackathon, which I love, by the way. I always thought hackathons at workplaces were really interesting, especially at startups that I was at. Hackathons were an opportunity for the developers to show off, you know, ideas and features for the site or for the service that you're using that would be beneficial. And the really upsetting thing about them was that the hackathon ideas I thought were usually far better than whatever idea they were working on in the sprint. But I guess hackathon ideas, in terms of implementing it across the board, would take a lot more manpower and resources and money than the thing that was in the sprint. But they're also an opportunity for you to kind of flex your muscles as a developer. So it continues. Among those ideas, according to a video posted on this week's ITP's TikTok account, showcased an event's various, indeed delightfully stupid treasures, is the vape-agotchi. May I ask you what your stupid hackathon project is? The interviewer is holding the camera, asking one participant. It's a vape with a Tamagotchi in it. The participant calmly replies, and if you not hit the vape, the Tamagotchi will die. Harrowing. Imagine how many people would play this. I think it'll be incredibly popular, especially nowadays, given how fucking obsessed with vaping people are. I think I saw a clip the other day of some woman smoking a vape in a fucking airplane. Very discreetly, by the way. No one snitched around her. I don't think I would have snitched either. But everybody, I think someone recorded her from the behind, and she was very discreetly, subtly smoking her vape on the plane. That's how fucking addicted that she was. She couldn't put it down for 2 minutes while she was on a plane. And I remember during actually COVID, there were kids, especially Gen Z kids, showing off their hauls or showing off their leftover vapes after they fucking finished hitting them. And I remember seeing one girl in particular had like boxes and boxes and boxes and trays full of, you know, empty vapes that she completely rinsed all over her fucking room. So you could imagine, you know, if you got that person and you linked and you kind of included a Tamagotchi game in it, an incentive to keep on vaping, or somebody that's already obsessed, it would go fucking crazy. So I'd actually love to see it implemented. I'm not going to lie. Incredibly, a few Google searches reveal that the stupid hackathoner may not be the first person with this idea. Idea for a vape with a tamagotchi that can only feed or play with by taking a puff of nicotine, reads one. A satirically, probably ex-formerly post from Works in Progress. Hi Sharks reads another post. This is from 2024, referencing the Shark Tank television program. Today we're putting a Tamagotchi pet on this vape thing. This one's written in response to another senior post. Through one lens, a Tamagotchi vape would be interpreted as an exploration of sacrifice, or maybe even a mutual destruction. Studies continue to show that vaping is terrible for you, and so to ensure the life of a beloved Tamagotchi, the vapor must offer up their own health as for that of their pet. Or the given Tamagotchis are generally regarded as a children's toy. The poignant meditation on how the tobacco industry's turn towards vaping reignited nicotine addiction amongst young people as cigarettes continue to steady decades long decline and zooming in and out in regards to the general rebuke of the young people's tech dependency. Or is it just a stupid Tamagotchi vape? In any case, hats off to the new frontier of Dr. Frankenstein. I'd love to see it actually implemented. I think that's one way to go against. Remember how, you know, governments and stuff made such a big stink about these, drug companies launching these vapes with really appetizing flavors and branding and stuff, right? And banned a lot of them. Well, imagine the turnaround. Imagine the hypocrisy of going out of your way to ban all these flavored vapes, to ban all these sort of like, you know, marketing and signia and advertising that is, you know, centered around or directed towards young people. But then you're okay with having it be a Tamagotchi vape. That's clearly something young kids would care about a lot, because I'm sure it does exist. I'm sure there's stuff like vapes that are like fucking yo-yos. I'm sure they exist too, and other things, or maybe a vape that's linked to a fucking Duolingo. Like, you know how people don't like to break their streaks on Duolingo? Maybe you get the vape and it's somehow linked to that, and every time that, you know, in order to hit your vape, you have to hit your Duolingo or something, and then it unlocks the vape feature. I don't know. Either way, really dystopian, really scary, but I love it. But I fucking love it. Moving on, things that I love. Multisex. I really want to go to this rave in Berlin called Multisex. I've heard about it for like, I think 3 years now. I think I found out about Multisex during the pandemic, because I think they were one of a few promoters out there in Berlin who were putting on events when everything was locked down and you couldn't go anywhere. So I think I might discover them around that sort of time. And obviously, because I'm obsessed with Berlin also, and I'm checking out things going on in there all the time, I kind of stumbled across it. But why it really kind of piqued my interest was, number one, I love the fucking creative direction around it. I love the aesthetic behind it as well. As you can see on the screen, they've got this massive M logo that says Multisex underneath it. I love the imagery on their Instagram. I love this kind of like hazy video feature they've got here on their fucking website and everything else that they do. But the one thing that I really love about them is what they have on their bio here on SoundCloud, which is something that's very rare in Berlin. Look how they describe themselves. Intimate music dance party based in Berlin. This is a dancing event created to serve the need for sexy house music. Only Sundays before bank holidays on special occasions. Follow us on information. Looking forward to host you. That, I think, is the best way to advertise something like this, especially in a place like Berlin that's obsessed with techno, that's obsessed with fucking faster and harder music, everything dark, everything black. It's kind of hard to find somewhere where you can look kind of like, I was thinking about it just the other day actually. Like, if you want to look cute, if you want to look sexy, if you want to look cute, feel sexy, and, you know, dance and twirl around and have some nice cocktails, where do you go actually? Because I feel like every place in Berlin is a little bit divey, it's a little bit grungy, it's a little bit, you know, rough around the edges. So at least with Multisex, they were purposely doing these parties to kind of be an antidote or a counter against those type of things. And when they're at their pomp, they used to host them at Watergate. Watergate is obviously no longer around anymore, but Watergate is a very fancy club in Berlin, as Berlin standards go, especially with it being on on the side of the river and shit. But that was a really good sort of link up and a really good synergy of what they're kind of doing. But the first thing that I love about it the most is this intimate house music dance party, which is something that isn't common in Berlin. I've always wondered why that's the case, because it's not as if Berlin is only based on techno. The history of Berlin includes loads of genres, especially when it comes to dance music or nightlife. It's not just techno. Obviously, techno is the thing that popped the most and became the most popular. But I remember back in the day watching documentaries about the early Berlin scene, and one of the main sticklers, one of the main mainstays of the genre there was minimal, was like house music and stuff. Like a lot of the big DJs now, even people like Dixon, kind of blew up from playing in Berlin long fucking DJ sets where they were playing house music. like a variation of what he plays now in Berlin. And nowadays, you probably can't find many events. If you go on RA events on any given weekend in Berlin, I'd imagine half of the events are probably not going to be house music or are going to be mostly techno, which is really strange. So it's odd that they're one of the only ones around who do it. I think there's also Toy Tonics that do it too, and I'm sure maybe a few others, like obviously Powerhouse and Power Disco that happens at fucking Paloma Bar that I'm also in love with. But for the most part, it's fairly rare to find this be the thing. The other thing that I like about it as well is that for whatever reason, I'm not too sure if it's because of the people that are involved with it. I'm not too sure if it's because of the people that go there, but it's a very fashiony crowd from what I've been able to kind of read in between the lines. There's lots of people there that work in fashion, that are from the fashion scene, who aspire to be in it, who kind of attend the party. So instead of it just being full of like techno heads, it's full of people who like, you know, dress up in a certain way, who wear brands and stuff, who want to look cute, who want to smell nice, who maybe have showers, who sleep, who maybe have the odd acai bowl here and there. They maybe have a green smoothie. They maybe drink matcha. You know, they're not always on fucking gear. They're not always on GHB. They're not always on ketamine and fucking, you know, 4-MMC and shit. They kind of, you know, they kind of balance it up a little bit. And because I'd imagine as well, if you're into fashion, spending all your money on drugs and fashion is hard. So you have to probably pick one poison. You can't have two, obviously, unless you got like a high salary. But I really want to go to one. They've got another one coming up actually very soon. One just passed recently, the 8th birthday party, which I fucking missed, which I was really upset about. And I think it was a really good lineup from what I saw. I think I saw that woman called Sarosai, I think, the Irish lady. She was playing there as one of the other people. But I really want to go to one. I think there's the next one happening on the 20th of April, which is their Easter celebration, which I'm maybe try will go to as well. And they're also doing one in Amsterdam in May. I'm assuming that might be for ADE on the 20th of May. There's also another one happening in Berlin again on 8th of June, and another one happening again on the 16th of August. So I really want to go to them. But so far, from what I've been checking out on socials, especially courtesy of the Berghain community subreddit, the reputation is not that great. The feeling around it isn't that great. People aren't really that enthusiastic or that pumped about fucking multisex. So let me read some of these reviews, courtesy of people on this Berghain subreddit, to show you what their thoughts are on multisex, because I really want to go, but some of these reviews don't really sound the greatest. So let's see what people say. This is courtesy of Berghain subreddit, and someone says here, your opinion on multisex. It was the first party somewhere else, but not in Pano since a couple of years, and I wanted to go to multisex since I heard only good things. Yet something was just off personally for me. My longest dance was 10 minutes maybe. The mood was not there. I don't know. Here are some good stuff. The music was amazing. 10 out of 10. Watergate was amazing as well. I love the occasion, especially in Sunrise, which I can imagine is good as well. Like, it's a shame Watergate is closed now, because that would also be a sick place to host a party. Like, to have your own people in Watergate was a vibe, because that's a very fancy, very nice party. To have people that you kind of vibe with and are a part of your community, and not just regular fucking stragglers along or normie people that go there, was probably going to be a bit of a vibe. I love the location, especially the Sunrise. Going to be back soon in summer for sure. The crowd was 5 out of 10. So the music was good, location was good, but the crowd, beautiful people, beautiful outfits, but it seemed to me more like a fashion show than diversity, for example, of Pano or Berghain crowd. I saw a couple of familiar faces from Pano, but that's it basically. What are your opinions? So someone's complaining that it's more of a fashion show and less of a rave. Less of people actually dancing, having a good time, and more of people actually standing around, posing in their outfits. I'll go be honest, I kind of like that. I want that. I think that's a refreshing change from the sweaty elbow to elbow, shoulder to shoulder thing that you get in most raves. If people are dancing in a cute way and keeping themselves in some sort of pocket, I think that's a good way to go forward. I don't mind that. I don't fucking mind that. So let's read some of the replies here. I went to the Easter party last year, this person says. I liked how upstairs was just a lounge. Great music downstairs. Typical Watergate venue. Frustrations, too narrow and ceilings too low. The crowd was too cool for school, despite the party name. Did not seem sex plus at all. I guess the sex plus name, people probably think it's not going to be a kink rave. I don't think that's the case. But I also wonder what the middle ground is. Because I'd imagine inviting fashion people to a rave, you are going to have a little bit of posing. That's why I say when people go to like fashion week events, go there to network and to have a good time, but don't expect to have a good time at a party, because they're going to be really stuffy. They're going to be full of people who probably don't want to be there. They're there just for the look. They're there just to network. They're there just to show face, you know, to keep their job, but they don't actually want to be there. and they're not the funnest experiences because fashion people don't know how to party, right? They're just there to, you know, show off their fucking outfits or their weight loss and shit. So it's probably difficult to get a room full of fashion people to dance and to go crazy. So you probably have to meet them in the middle. So as long as the music is good and the location's good, the venue and stuff and whatever, I don't really mind if everyone around me isn't dancing. I can have my own fun. Obviously, it would be nice if everyone around me was fucking having a blast. But if people around me are just posing around, then I can also have my fun in my own pocket. Because those people also leave you alone, right? So it's not like those people are going to stop you from dancing and having fun. They're going to leave you alone if you leave them alone. So I'm okay with that. Another person says here, I noticed a trend in the past couple of years of parties marketing themselves as sexy fetish parties. But when then you go there, it's just people cosplaying as fetish accessories. Is this one of those? I don't think that's true. I don't think multisex is posturing as a sexy fetish party. I think multisex is a mostly house party, house music based party that's obviously aimed towards a fashion crowd, but I don't think it purports to be a kink rave. I don't even think they have a dark room. I'm not gonna lie, I don't even think they have a dark room. Let's see on their website. Do they have house rules? Did they have house rules? I don't even think they have a dark room. I think it's just an inclusive party, but I don't think it's a sex positive party. Let's see here, the house rules. Respect. We have a zero tolerance policy for any form of discrimination, harassment, assault, violence, physically or verbally. Our awareness team will be present. Privacy, photography and video recordings are prohibited for general audience. No phones on the dance floor, which again is trying to make people want to dance. Prior to entry, attendees' phone cameras will be covered for the duration of the event. Exclusive permissions are granted to multisex staff who reserve the right to record occasional promotional material. Awareness team is there to foster a safe space. Your objective is to make sure that you are adequately cared for and safe. If you or others feel around you unwell or have concerns, you can always approach the staff. Entry, guests that arrive visibly intoxicated or demonstrate aggression will be denied access. So yeah, I don't see anything on here about sex. This is not a sex positive party or a kink rave. Substances, open use, promotion of illegal substances is prohibited. Belongings, health and safety, care, food, yeah. It's never has been. I don't think it ever has been or ever will be a sex rave. I think it's mostly just a cute rave where people dance, where people might look sexy, but I don't think it's ever been a sex rave. Yeah, this person says it here. Multisex never branded itself as a fetish sexy party. The name may be confusing, yes, but there's nothing about kink or sex positivity in any of their communication. An acquaintance introduced me to this party when it was a word of the mouth. Almost nothing could be found online or on socials. I asked, what is multisex? Is it a sex event? And straight away the answer was nah, it's just a cute house party, which I'd love. I'm not mad at it. Another person says, I wasn't at this one, but I was at the last two. It's as others have said, great location, beautiful people, music on point. You get the character feeling until it gets super messy and you get tired of feeling like an overcrowded Urban Outfitters Y2K hell. I don't know, man. I think that's a bit out of order, you know? I think it's nice to have a difference out there because all of the raves there, especially the ones I go to, are quite similar. They're all the same. So it's nice to go somewhere where you can feel cute, you can put on a cute little outfit, you can twirl around in the circle, and there's no danger of somebody spilling an entire fucking pint of beer all over your jeans, you know? Yeah, big up Mr. O in the chat, big up Daniel Clements in the chat as well, big up Izanella. Why don't you live in Berlin? That was something that I thought about when I was younger, but nowadays I have no interest in it whatsoever. The dream would be to have a place there that I could visit, that I could go to stay in every 6 months or so. But living there full time, I would never want to live there personally. I like to separate my fun and my work. I don't like to be where I have fun all the time. So I love visiting there. I want to visit there way more often. But in terms of living there day to day, it's not for me. Mostly because of the pace of it. It's a little bit too much to be surrounded by all of that temptation and distraction every single day. One of the good things is that you can find your pockets, especially in the recent times I've gone. I have seen as a shift. I've seen that it's not just one pace anymore. It's not just techno, sniff, pill, whatever. It's people doing other things as well, being a little bit more wholesome and holistic and looking after themselves, wellness, health and fitness stuff. I've seen that being promoted way more. But I still think the majority of the pace over there is about getting fucked up, is about getting on it, is about partying, is about getting lost in the sauce. And personally, I don't think that's cool or chic or cute over a certain age. I feel like living in Berlin is similar to like living in any other crazy city in the world. You should probably get out your system and do it while you're like under fucking 35, under 25 or something, maybe even under 25. That's when you should go. You should try to get that Berlin thing out of your system then. But the older you get, the more you realize that, you know, it's nice to visit for a weekend, but living there day to day, not for me. Not for me in the slightest. Multisex used to be fun, but I heard it's lost its spark and it's now overcrowded. Every event until yesterday was good and exciting, especially in the summer. The dance floor for most of the time is sexy and intimate, and I had some of the best dancing experience in 15 years of clubbing there. But this Thursday, Friday, was very different, was quite young and hetero and poshy. So maybe I'm the problem too, because I'm also talking about it. So maybe the fact that it's on my radar, it means it's over, and now it's not going to be the same again. But I'm curious to go. I really want to go. I really want to see what the vibe is saying, because I'm kind of, you know, a little bit fed up of going to my same old techno raves and shit. So it might be nice to go somewhere where someone might appreciate my fucking Comme des Garçons, you know, spring, summer 2006 trench coat, you know? They might notice what it is. They might give me a little bit of a head nod when they see my fucking Prada loafers and whatever it may be. That might be good. Let's see what another person said here. This person said, Multisex, that club match was great overall. The music and crowd were on point. The vibe was different, less showy. I heard a lot about Multisex that has been happening the same time at the weekend club, and many people were coming there on Sunday evening. It seems like the party might have influenced the change in the vibe. I also heard the mixed reviews about it. What's so special about this party? Somebody replies, I went to Multisex and Berghain last weekend and it's incomparable. Multisex is a place where people come to show off. People hate, honestly, it's so funny hearing the rants of people from Berlin vis-a-vis the rants people have in London. Because showing off is a major part of London nightlife, I feel like, or just London living, in some respects. I think people are able to put up with a lot more. I think people in Berlin are so picky. They're so finicky. And in a way, even though they don't feel like it, they're so also very pretentious about how you should rave. What is good etiquette to rave? You know what I mean? It's like, bloody hell, people. Let's get over ourselves a little bit, right? I went to Berghain and Multisex last weekend. They're incomparable. Multisex is a place where people like to show off. The lineup wasn't worth the $30 entry fee. No vibe on the dance floor. People will spend more time shining on the terrace. Again, I feel like Berlin people are super spoiled. Every place in London, no, I don't think there's a single club you could go to on a weekend that isn't less than fucking 20 quid entry or fucking 30 quid entry. All of them are fucking that. It's 20 quid and up. Every fucking club, no matter how shitty it is. So the fact that they complain about raving in a place that's going to be open for like 10 plus hours during the night as well, into the morning, is fucking insane, man. They don't know how good they have it. They really don't know how good they have it over there. What a shame the queue. Friends paid €30 and left to get food and couldn't get back in because the capacity was full according to the people at the door. And that's when the show started. No one else gets in except for the groups of friends of the organizers, who arrive in groups of 7 and 8, hug each other, kiss each other, while each other watch for hours waiting, being able to get in though they paid for the ticket. Yeah, this is something that will grind my gears too. This is something that would make me boil. But it's something you all have to go to. You have to go through it as a fucking nightlife person. You go to a club or you go to like a pop-in party that's really popular and you queue up at the front. You're waiting to get in. It's super fucking rammed. They're doing one in, one out, or they're taking really long to fucking get people through. And then you see a group of people come through, usually looking fabulous, usually looking like, you know, walking cunts, walking wankers. They're air kissing each other. They're screaming. They're hugging each other. They're picking each other around. They're picking each other up and twirling each other in the air, high fiving. You know, reminiscing on some afters or this sesh or some show they were at, and then they all get ushered in. They all get fucking ushered in before you do. That stuff is horrible, man. That will literally that will turn you into a villain. That is a villain origin story. But my advice would be, if you're following these popular fucking raves and promotions like I do, and if you're on this techno tourism thing, your best bet is to go early. Just go early. Just queue up from the start like a fucking loser. Be one of the first people there before they open, and just make sure you get inside. That's it. Don't go to a cool hipster, been featured in Days magazine or an RA, has been featured in Mix Mag or ID. Don't go to these type of parties late. Don't pull up like a normal time, because it's already oversubscribed as it is, and now it's been featured in like a big publication, so it's got a bunch of people more that want to go there. It's going to be you know, the demand for it is going to be super high, and a lot of these places love to kind of, you know, act a little bit, you know, up their ass and shit, so they're going to make you wait anyway. So to protect yourself and to make sure you don't crash out or go crazy, just get there early. It's hard, I know, but get there early, and it wouldn't matter, especially these popular raves. if you get to fucking Multisex early, it's not as if you're going to be in there by yourself for a long time. It's super busy anyway. So by the time, you know, after an hour or so, the place will already be full up. Maybe even less than that. So I do feel this person's pain, but the way to avoid this is to go to these type of parties first, early, get your stamp or whatever, and then go about wherever you want to do. But trying to get there at a normal club time and seeing people, you know, who didn't queue up for 4 hours just waltzing in front of you, that shit can hurt. What a shame. It's a real lack of respect. Neither the people on the guest list nor for the re-entry could get in. What the fuck? Not to mention there are no rules about drugs at Multisex. People do drugs everywhere and no respect to the customers. It was disgusting. Okay, that's interesting little tidbit there. I guess this again is another Berlin thing. I've said it before ages ago that I still remember to this day that my first time going to Berghain and being scolded by somebody on the dance floor not to do my multivitamins on the dance floor, which I'm used to doing here in London. That's something everyone does here in the UK, is that you just find a little corner or you find an opportunity whenever you do to do your multivitamins on the dance floor. But it's not something that's practiced that much in Europe. I don't think, especially in Berlin, everyone kind of goes to the fucking bathrooms and does it in there, which then causes a whole other issue because you have a ton of people in there super high talking to themselves or talking to friends about how they can save the world because they're super high, taking up all the time, and then you're there fucking, you know, holding your balls and your multivitamins are in your pocket melting. So it's an issue. But yeah, this is something that you're not going to encounter. I don't think you're going to encounter many other places in the world where other ravers will tell you off for doing drugs on the dance floor. You know, only in Berlin. I was disgusted by this place. I prefer to quickly go back to Berghain on Sunday, enjoy a real party atmosphere. Okay. Another one says, yeah, Multisex used to be a good party for uplifting house music, but vibe-wise, it was always about pretentious people showing off. On the opposite, Berghain comes a much more welcoming place. If you're into it, the music and the talks and the warmth, avoid going to the party. If you're into it, connections, go seeing and showing off and how cool you can act, that's a spot for you. I don't know. I'm thinking, I'm getting inspired. I'm thinking maybe I should do something here in London similar because we've got the same sort of issue, especially nowadays. Like everything is techno based. Every night, especially in Fold is a good example. I don't think Fold have a single night that's popular that's house. I think every rave that happens in Fold, let me just double check this, but I'm pretty sure I'm accurate here. I think every rave that happens in Fold is somewhat centered around techno. There is nothing else that happens in Fold that isn't on techno. So maybe the way to go about doing things to kind of make a little bit of a mark, especially in nightlife here in London, instead of just trying to do another techno rave, which will be tempting to do, especially because I have this idea of having a techno rave that is predominantly focused on promoting non-white DJs. It's a very controversial thing, but you know, a lot of these places I go to, they're full of the same people playing the same fucking music. It's not the most diverse thing in the world, I don't feel like. The only diversity happens really with girls. With guys, really, you don't really see a lot of black dudes playing techno in London here and for some reason. I'm not sure if it's because there's not a lot of black techno DJs in London. I don't think that's the case. But you see a lot of diversity with, like, you know, black girls who identify as queer, LGBTQ playing in raves at techno. We don't really see a lot of, like, straight black dudes for some reason. Who knows? But if I just browse the listing of Fold RA here, you can see a lot of these nights from Helena Halfer's playing this weekend. That's mostly techno, you'd imagine. Optimo playing and in Fold is also some, I guess, within a techno sort of bubble. Natural Selection featuring, who's this? VSK, Carlton. Yeah, all that is probably more techno vibes. The only thing that might be not techno, more of a housey, might be Labyrinth featuring Laurent Garnier. That 3-hour extended set. That might be a big one there. Cabin Fever featuring Orla, Sonja, Monia, Factor, K-Lone. Yeah, all these people I'd imagine are in the techno face. Hyphenus Records, I'm not really too sure. Heron Sauna, definitely say is more techno than house. There's not a lot of like techno people, house people here. All of it, I feel like, is definitely. Oh wow, D Dan's playing a Tech Culture. Okay, let's fucking save that one. Might want to go to that actually. That's a good one. I didn't know that. A lot of this so far is giving me techno vibes. So maybe the way to go forward might be for me to actually decide to do a more of a houseier rave here in London. I think that might work out. The first thing I'll probably end up doing though is getting myself a little fucking DigiMidi controller, the ones that DJ AG's been using lately, and doing some street sets, obviously to kind of garner some attention and to market myself out there, because I haven't been involved in the industry in terms of making raves in a long fucking time. So I probably need all the help I can get with that sort of stuff. But yeah, man, I think that might be the way forward. But big up Multisex regardless. I really do want to go to one of their raves and one of their events. Like I said, I really like their imagery and creative direction they have on their website and on their Instagram. They do a good job of making the parties and things look really fun. All the fucking videos and the vibe and shit. And yeah, let's see what happens next time. Let's see what happens next time when I end up going there, hopefully sometime soon. Moving on. Let's talk slightly a little bit about this. So this is kind of popular now in the UK. A bunch of people on the streets roller skating and shit. And yeah, man, I fucking hate it. I'm not gonna lie. I hate it mostly because of how they skate and the way they look when they're skating. They feel like they're really doing something by roller skating this way. But I feel like roller skating is incredibly easy compared to inline skating and skateboarding. And it's not like they're doing anything that complicated. Like going backwards like this is really easy to do, especially if you skate like long enough or practice long enough. It's not that impressive. Like, you know, maybe jumping up and down and stuff, upstairs, downstairs, over railings, over cars and shit is way more impressive than this sort of stuff I'm seeing. I saw another kid recently as well doing the thing where they're on the underground and they go in between people. That was also kind of impressive, right? Doing like a little slalom race on the underground. But I find the roller skating thing odd, man. Like, it's not that cool. It looks kind of naff. It looks kind of lame. I'm not gonna lie. It really does look kind of lame. Like this going backwards on the high street like this, like, and the way they're flicking their legs, like their arms, like they all have a particular face they do, that concentration face when they're skating. I don't know. I just don't like it. Maybe I'm hating. Maybe it's me being a boomer. I'm not really too sure, but like jump over something, man. Jump down some railings. Jump over a car. You know, grind on a curb. You know, I don't know. Tap your skates against a bin while you're fucking spinning 360 or something. Do something. Like, what is this? Skating up and down, like, and then going backwards. Okay. I guess so, man. I guess so. I don't like it. I fucking hate it. But maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. Moving on. We've got this courtesy of Adam Port. Big up blood clot Adam Port, man. I found this post maybe one of the most cringiest, one of the most disgustingest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. But I big up Adam Port because this is really good engagement baiting, right? So Adam Port posted this video of himself, or this picture of himself, and the caption says, "Finally back in Brazil. I'm here to do some shows in Recife, Rio, and in Cambrulho, in Brazil. I would like to put some of you on my guest list, but there's too much DMs. Maybe checking comments here is easier." So it's him fishing for people to leave their names and to beg in the comments to get on the fucking guest list to go to his performances in Brazil. And it's like, brother, man, brother. First of all, I would rather die. I would rather die or jump off a very high building than leave some sort of beggy comment in the replies here wanting to get on the fucking guest list. It's not that deep. Like the obsession that people have with guest list spots anyway in dance music, in nightlife, is really odd. I get it when you're broke, when you don't have any money, or when you want to save money to like do more drugs and spend more money on booze. But I feel like the people that do it don't actually want to spend more money on drugs and booze. I feel like they just like getting on guest lists. They just like getting to places for free. Or they like the ability, or they like what guest list entails. Because mostly if you get on the guest list, it depends what kind of rave you go to. But most raves, if you get on the G list, that means you also get the opportunity to be in a booth. Or you get the opportunity to go into a green room. Which I don't also get. Because the booth, okay, it can be fun to be standing there and seeing somebody like Adam Port of his sort of level and fame doing his thing. But I think the fun in all raves is always on the dance floor. The fun is to be had with the people on the dance floor, shaking and jiving, shaking your fucking moneymaker. There's also not a lot of fun to be had in green rooms. Trust me, I've been in them. They're just full of people doing gear, you know, which you can do yourself, you know, in the toilets. You don't need to do them with people in a green room who are gossiping about the scene and just, you know, wasting their time and shit. And also you've gone to a rave. Like, why are you listening to the muffled set through a fucking sound insulated green room when you could be on the dance floor actually raving? So I just don't like that in the slightest. I think it's fucking weird. But him putting it out like that and then people replying in the comments and leaving their sob stories, oh, it breaks my heart. Carol, this person called Carol. "Hey Adam, please put me and my best friend on the list for the Camarote Alma on Tuesday the 4th. I'm already going to see you at MAM on Saturday the 1st, and I would forever be grateful if I could see you at the Super Kai. By the way, I wonder how many people on this reply list who are dudes got put on the guest list. I wonder how many people who are guys got put on the guest list. I bet you 0. I bet you the majority of people who get on these guest lists are going to be very attractive young ladies with dark hair who are all under the age of 25 and who have tits that are fucking perky as fuck. I bet no guys that look like me, no guys that look like you are getting on this Adam Port G list, which I respect. Let's see some more begging here. Yes to Cambry. Adam, we are Chileans in Brazil. We just realized that you are playing tonight and we can't find tickets. Help us. Oh my god. Can I get one of the t-shirts? Ay. The begging on the fucking comments. Honestly, it's fucking gross. It's fucking gross. But most of it is not even begging. I'm wondering if some people don't even read captions, do they? I would think. People are just saying fire. Welcome to Brazil, brother. Some people aren't even fucking leaving fucking beggy comments. Most of them are just replying to the fucking comment, to the picture. Another one says here, because it's my first show and my members of Keinemusik crew and his first time in Northeast, I believe it's valid to honor him backstage. It will be an immense privilege. You see what I mean about backstage? Everybody wants a G-list, not to get in, but as backstage. One of the things that I would want, if I ever won the G-list, which I never want, so fuck off, you know, I'm not involved in that game. I'd rather just go through it the hard way and die, queuing up for 6 hours. But one of the benefits of G-list is that you skip the queue to then increase the time you can be dancing, drinking, and doing a bunch of adult vitamins. But there's no way that I'm getting G-list just so I can be in a back room or behind the scenes feeling important. That is super R-worded. I hate it. I hate everything about it. Another person. Hey Adam, please bring my boyfriend up with you on backstage. She loves you more. She loves you more than anything but else in the world. Sorry, my best friend, not a boyfriend. My best friend with you backstage. Me too, Adam. Love you, bro. Nick, it's not gonna happen, bro, friend. Nick, I don't think it's happening, brother. Nick, you stand no chance. You stand no chance, Nick. Another person here says, I don't need a ticket because I already got one. I just want the shirt as a gift. Yeah, everybody begging here, man. I don't want to see you in Rio. Take me to have fun with you. What? God damn it. Is this woman offering her services like as a woman? Take me to have fun with you. God damn it. With your kid on your fucking Instagram as well. Like, god damn it, mama. Calm down. Calm down. We want to be on your guest list. Kissy kissy. Honestly, this is good engagement farming. Like, my DMs are too full. Too many requests. Please leave your beggy replies in the fucking comments. And I'll get to it. Hey, Adam. Bring me to Musea de Ama. What the fuck, Vintino? You stand no chance, my friend. Another person here. My name is Short. You won't use too much force on your fingers to put my name on the list of the Reef Party. Haha, please. Oh, you're a guy. Not happening, Roman. Romano, not happening. Or Roman, not happening. Another one says here, it will be a dream to see you. Please. God almighty, please. The amount of... I can't do this, man. Have some self-respect, people. Honestly, please, for the love of God, have some fucking self-respect, because this is so fucking cringy. I could never do this in the slightest. Really, really couldn't do this. One thing I could do, though, is the raves themselves. These pictures and these videos of Adam Port playing in Brazil are really fucking good, man. I'm not going to lie. I downloaded them. Let me actually play a lot of these clips here. I have to say, this is refreshingly good and kind of goes against the narrative that a lot of Keinemusik fans are dead and don't have fun. And the parties are just full of people like posing and wanting to record sets and not actually wanting to have a blast. Because from what I saw in this particular set in particular, or from these slideshows, these clips that Adam Port has shared on his Instagram, this looked like a fun rave, man. I'm not going to lie. Like, it looked like a fucking blast. Let me play some of the clips for you here that I downloaded from his Instagram. But this looks really fucking good. The crowd in Brazil were fucking up for it. They were really up for it. So I think it goes to show it's less about the Keinemusik crew being dead or about the music they play being a little bit sleepy, which it can be. I've always described it as like FIFA menu music, you know, fancy hotel lounge bar music. But I think depending on the crowd, you can get a fun rave because the Brazilians, they turned up, man. The Brazilians turned up. Let's play these clips. The Brazilians had a good time. They weren't fucking around. They were having a fucking blast out there. I'd love to see it. Let's play this one.
You be in my memory. Nothing like it's meant to be. Slowly to the morning light. Don't make me your enemy. I was cool blindsided. Now you're on my mind. I'm in need of therapy. You're in my
Adam Port dancing and I skanking. Kind of cringe, but I love it. Look at the amount of girls in the booth, bro. Jesus Christ, bro. Like I said, I don't think any guy that left a beggy comment trying to get on the guest list on that thing got in. Because all I see are fucking ladies, 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 ladies. I don't see any fellas. I see no beards. I see no afros. I see no taper fades. All I see are fucking contours and very shiny tits. That's all I see. Contoured faces and very shiny tits. Another video here of him playing. Again, the crowd look like they're having a blast. There's some girls in the booth are on their phone, but for the most part, no one's recording really. Everyone's dancing, looking at the crowd, looking at him. Refreshing, honestly. Really refreshing to see a Keinemusik associated dance and everybody actually having a good time. Okay, that's pretty good. Love to see it. Another clip here as well, taken from the same place. Tune. Yeah, and to be fair, maybe there's more cameras here in the crowd, but I still feel like they're having fun. At least they're moving. They're not just standing still with their camera in the crowd, which is all you can ask for. I think it's a bit, it's a little bit intrusive to, demand every rave have no cameras and no phones. I feel like phones are an extension of most people's fucking lives. And there are some places where they're necessary, but some places where people can just be well behaved. I think the rave that we went to in Amsterdam to see Dixon, before we went in, the person at the front basically told us, yeah, photos are allowed, just no flash please, and no phones out on the dance floor. And that was basically it. And most people weren't really even using their phones. So you don't need to always cover your phones with stickers or lock them in the thing. People to have fun. You can just tell people to be responsible. Say like, hey, please no fucking flash photography. And that's basically it. And you can record still, but just don't record on the dance floor. And most people will behave and act accordingly. It's not really that difficult to do. I also love the cut of his t-shirt. Actually, I'm not too sure if this is something he's made before himself, but I think that's a good idea for like a rave t-shirt or like a DJ t-shirt, because it's a little bit, it's oversized. The armholes are a little bit big, so it lets in more air, and it's a really boxy shape. And it also has like a little bit of a, I guess, of a rolled up sleeve style on the sleeve. It comes up a little bit high, so obviously it gets to show up his tattoos, but you can show up a bit of your bicep when you're DJing. If you want to get some good clips and videos and whatever else on your fucking on your Instagram, you can do so by having one of these shirts that already is kind of cut really high up on the sleeve. So when you're playing, right, you can have a little bit of fun. I'm on that, man. I'm fucking on that. Yeah, I don't mind that in the slightest. Let's look at the other one. Nice. Vibes. I'm not mad at that in the slightest. And the last one here from Adam Port's Brazil tour. So good crowds in Rio then, isn't it? I guess Rio has a good crowds there. And from what I can see here, Rio crowds also don't really care about recording too much. Look at that view. That's very rare for a Keinemusik attendance to have people in there not on their phones as much. That's probably one of the only times I've ever seen a Keinemusik rave where everybody's not on their phone. This is pretty incredible. So there probably would be a good idea to do a Keinemusik rave somewhere in that country, maybe in that city specifically soon. I love the guys in the crowd wearing the fucking babushka scarves over their head, similar to what Anmi does. But yeah, the crowd seemed like they were up for it. The venue looks fucking cool as fuck as well. I love this mirrored fucking stage show thing they've got going on here. It helps, I guess, to add some light and space and reflections in the space itself. And it looks like they recorded this on a live stream. I'm not too sure if they did, because the video footage is really fucking good. But I know some clubs as well are really cheeky. They'll have somebody in there with an SLR with a whole rig recording rave footage to make it look like they recorded a set, but they didn't. It's just a promotion thing to kind of, you know, get people to go to the club, which I'm not mad at. But yeah, it looks fucking fun. Big up Adam Port. That looks fucking fun. That looks fucking fun. Moving on. I also wanted to mention this, courtesy of Blood Clot. What's his name? What's his fucking name? Rampa. Rampa has debuted some headphones that aren't out at the moment yet. This is courtesy of his Instagram. It says TEILE headphones and studio monitors about to be released too soon. My team and I took years to develop, and then I'm more than happy about the outcome. Can't wait for you to hear the results. So he's got some studio monitors that he's putting out. Obviously the speakers you can see there at the back, which look really cool. I think they're out already at the moment. I think a set of those speakers is like $1,000, so they're not cheap in the slightest. But the one that I'm really curious about, the thing that my cock is hard for, are the headphones. So he says they're studio headphones. Or no, they're just TEILE headphones, sorry. Not studio monitors. But these could be good DJ headphones. They're really fucking cool. So they're all black. They've got the logo TEILE here on one of the bands. They've got really chunky ear cups. Nice chunky padded strap here at the top as well of the bar. They look really fucking cool. I really want them. I really want these. I'm not sure when they're going to come out. I'm assuming they're going to be kind of expensive as well. But I've been looking for a new pair of DJ headphones for a while, and these look like they're it. I also love the fact that they can be folded and obviously put into your luggage or some sort of headphone bag easily. They fold really easily too. It doesn't look like they do a complicated fold like most trendy headphones. It's just a matter of just kind of folding the ear cups in, and they kind of fold into the strap. And then you could obviously wrap the cable around the headphone to kind of keep the cable straight, which is also good. Also, the cable placement is also good as well, because it keeps it from smacking on the side of the other ear cup and kind of breaking. So you get a chance to kind of wrap it around there and absolutely not damaging the wire. Yeah, I actually want a pair. I really want a pair. I'm not sure when they're going to come out. The speaker's already out now. And he said, I think he mentioned here in the caption, they've been working on them in tandem. So I'm assuming they're about to be dropping very soon. And this is a company that he owns, which is kind of refreshing. I'm not going to lie. Instead of dropping merch and doing all that sort of raz, he has his own company that makes like audio equipment. I think they make like this effects box that Keinemusik crew uses. They also make cables and speakers and shit. And now he's getting into the headphones industry or market, which also might spell maybe some more stuff. Maybe we might see a TEILE mixer. That could be something in the future. Because I was thinking the other day, like, I wonder why there aren't more people making independent CDJs, like independent brands making CDJs, because it's Pioneer kind of dominate the market. Obviously, the only brand I think that comes close to Pioneer is Denon, but I wonder if that's a gap in the market for someone to make like a bespoke, a really nice, a really fancy, a really clean, minimal, like just a really nice CDJ. It doesn't have to be fucking super cheap. Maybe it just has to be really nice, and maybe there's only one sort of like model. Really basic in terms of having a cue and a play button, an ability to loop, obviously a pitch control, and obviously a nice big screen to select your tracks. But that's about it. But it works, you know, it kind of works in tandem with record box and shit. I wonder why no people don't do it. Maybe I wonder if it's because the software that most CDJs use is record box and people are mostly used to using that. I don't know if that's the case, or maybe that's closed. But I would love to see more independent brands making a CDJ. A nice one, a fancy one, maybe one without as many buttons as a fucking Pioneer one that they do. I think that'll be perfect going forward. But so far, from what I've seen of these headphones, they look fucking sick. I really want a pair. Can't wait for them to drop. Like I said before, I've been struggling to find a new set of DJ headphones that I can use day to day. I know I've got my Phonons, but they're way too expensive to be using day to day for me personally. I get nervous when I fucking use them even when I go to fucking Pirate Studios. So I want to have a pair of headphones that I can quote unquote beat and bang about, that aren't because these kind of look like IIIs, but they're a lot more chunky and kind of, you know, a little bit more durable looking than them, and they look a bit cooler as well. I also like the logo on the side, so I really want a pair. I really want a pair. Hopefully they drop soon. Big up Rampa. Big up Rampa. Love to see it. You love to see it. Continuing on, I wanted to actually leave a bit more of credit to the hundreds. I didn't finish this article courtesy of Hypebeast regarding Bobby Hundreds stepping down as the creative director and being basically the person that's steering the ship over there at the hundreds. I think I mentioned it prior that this was big news on my side of the internet, that Bobby Hundreds was stepping down as creative director of the hundreds and relinquishing control to this new kid who's coming up called David Rivera, who's been in charge of putting together some really, I think, dope collections for the hundreds. And I want just to say, in terms of like an honoring of Bobby, like, it has to be said, like, when I was getting into the streetwear industry, or when I was first getting into the streetwear scene, my heroes I was kind of looking up to were the likes of the Hiroshi Fujiwaras, the Nigos, the James Jebbias and stuff, all these people who I kind of looked up to, who kind of started these great brands and movements and stuff. Jun Takahashi's, right? The skate things, the guy from Double Taps, Tet, the guy from Neighborhood. Like, I love all these people, right? And one of the things that kind of bummed me out when I got into the scene was how rude and how dismissive and standoffish and how, you know, just how people try to vibe you out in the scene when you early get into it can really kind of demoralize you. And it was really nice when I was in the scene early, when I was interning for 12 Bar. It was so, like, I'm so thankful for it, because that little interaction kind of gave me again the motivation to continue on, because I quickly realized that the cunts in the scene are only the people that work within middle management or work kind of, you know, for the brands. The actual people that actually own the brands, the actual movers and shakers, the actual important people, by and large, most of them are nice. Like, when I met Bobby, when he come across to London to visit the owners of 12 Bar, and I happened to have some time to chat to him for a little bit and shit, he was super nice, super nice. And I was a fucking snotty-nosed forum kid who was obsessed with Hypebeast forums, who was always online ranting and raving about brands and talking about streetwear and being on fucking, you know, just being around and doing what I need to do and shit. And, you know, I was a nobody back then, and he was legitimately super nice. And the weird thing was, because he was super nice, and because I got the opportunity to kind of walk around London with him and Nick and whatever else, visiting shops, when I went in there with him, suddenly the reception that I got myself when I'd go in those shops after was completely changed, which really made me fucking see what the game is like. Again, it's no, you know, it's the way it is. I think when you got clout and people know that you know somebody, they change. But the difference in attitude from when I went to places like the Hideout, and when I went, I forgot the other place as well that I'm thinking of that kind of slips my mind. But I remember the frosty reactions I'd get in places like the Hideout, and then I stepped in there with fucking, you know, Bobby Hundreds from the Hundreds, that during his fucking peak time when the Hundreds was doing bits and bobs, and the people around there completely changed their demeanor and their attitude towards me based on just me being associated with him, which is, you know, it is what it is. A little bit annoying, but that's the game. And you have to be honest as well, during the time that he was making the brand, like, you know, he had to go through a lot of ups and downs, a lot of fucking negativity, a lot of hate. There was a time where people were kind of feeling like the Hundreds sold out when they were selling in Zoomies. There was negative connotations because a lot of Filipino kids used to like them and shit. Like, the Hundreds had a hard time. It wasn't easy. But he stirred the course and he kept plugging away. And essentially, he's now got a brand that's 20 years in the game that he can hand off to somebody to keep doing, that isn't on its last legs, that isn't dying by any means of that, any meaning of the words. I think they're sort of like focusing in and trying to bring things back in-house and make things kind of a bit more easier to kind of deal with by closing down the stores and shit and handing over control to somebody. It kind of makes them only have to deal with, you know, making sure that they can handle the online sales, which is probably a lot easier, and obviously saves money on rent and shit by having a retail space. And also in 2025, you know, what is the benefit or the utility of even having a retail space? If you're trying to create a world and blah, 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 most people are going to interact with your products or items online anyway. So you don't really need to have a retail space until you need to have one. And it kind of gives them a chance to reset. So I feel like all that work he's done has paid off, because now he has a brand that he can hand off to a talented up and coming designer like David Rivera, who could then kind of take the baton and kind of run with it. But he deserves a lot of credit for doing what he does, and also he deserves a lot of credit for the humility to be able to be like, you know what, this isn't going well, I'm not the guy to kind of address or to kind of talk to these kids or to be able to make clothing at the level that I was making it in the beginning. So I'm gone. Because again, he does a lot of hits. That starter hat that is still banging now is a hit. The Paisley hoodie was a hit. The denim was a hit. I think even was there sneakers? I forgot. Was there a sneaker collaboration? I think there was a collaboration. I forgot. I didn't really do much, but again, a lot of hits. There was a lot of fucking hits. Even just a blog, the ability to just be talking openly about the brand and the ups and downs of running one and being vulnerable and being open to receiving feedback and criticism from fans or haters alike and shit. Just generally nice. And even when I reconnected with him years after the fact, when I was helping to run that fucking streetwear course. It was really cool to see him also be super nice about Virgil. He was one of the only ones that were nice. He didn't take part in it in the end, but he was really nice about Virgil, and he said some nice things at the time when a lot of people who actually took part in it or people that were sending condolences had some really not good things to say about Virgil when he was alive. But I think Bobby Hundreds was one of the only ones that kind of saw the potential that he had, saw the importance that he had on the scene, and took what he did seriously and didn't really try and poo-poo it or shoo it away. So Bobby Hundreds deserves a lot of credit. He's a fucking legend, and I really can't wait to see what this David Rivera kid does going up as well. Let me quickly go back to the article where they mentioned the stores closing. I think I stopped it around this point. It says here at its peak in the mid-2000s, Fairfax, which replaced Melrose Place in LA as the most in-the-know shopping stretch in Supreme LA, opened in 2004, was one of the biggest streetwear hubs in the world. Yeah, that's the thing. People really forget. In the mid-2000s to the early 2010s, Fairfax was one of the popping streetwear places in the world. People would visit. People would fly over to go and hang out in Fairfax. Wild times, man. I kind of wish I went there, actually, back in the day. But I was just at home, like, obsessing over the pictures of people, like, zooming in to see who was there, obsessing over what they were wearing, seeing leaks of certain clothing dropping and shit. Like, I fucking loved it. That OG Hundreds blog, it's not around anymore. I think it doesn't exist. Maybe Bobby Hundreds should do that. She maybe make an archive, maybe put together in a book or something of all the old school entries on the OG the Hundreds blog. I'd love to see that documented or kind of captured somewhere, man. We need to have that somewhere. We need that. Fairfax was one of the biggest streetwear hubs in the world, rivaled only by New York's Lower East Side and Tokyo's Harajuku neighborhood. The retailers on the street read like an all-star team. The Hundreds, Supreme, Diamond Supply Co., Half, Crooks and Castles. In later days, Pink Dolphin. Remember Pink Dolphin? That was a fucking massive fucking brand. I remember Jasper Dolphin for Old Future used to fucking love that shit. That was around the time where he was obsessed with Miley Cyrus. But by the way, he's old. Big up fucking Jasper. He was OG on the Miley Cyrus simping. Now everybody simps for Miley Cyrus because she's fucking super hot. But he saw the vision early. Old Future store, which is now replaced by a golf wang store. Today, if you stroll down the 3-block stretch of Fairfax High School, you'll find outfits like Gold Gods, Rip and Dip, and Heaven by Marc Jacobs. When we moved in, says 100 co-founder, the only players on Fairfax were Supreme and Reserve, a bookstore. We felt like, they said this in 2019, we felt like this could be where the future of LA was. We ended up moving in and it turned out to be a clubhouse. Ben Hundreds of the Hundreds co-founder and I would work there, but people would just hang around in the afternoon and then they would blog about it. And then I would blog about it, sorry. We'd be playing music, smoking, drinking. We would just hang out there all day and all night. What was initially used as an office space soon became the 100 store, and the brand made $100,000 in one day of the release of their ultra popping Paisley hoodie and reinvested the profits in the physical presence. So that Paisley hoodie, actually, I don't remember at the time, but I guess the Paisley hoodie was a lot more important than I remember it. That was a big deal. Oh, look at this. That's the picture. Yeah, that's the guy who's the intern for. Big up Nick. That's Nick right there. This is around the time when I was knee deep in the Hundreds. Yeah, I remember, man, some of the graphics, man. I remember all the fucking blog entries that he used to make about the graphics and what went into the graphics of the shirts and shit. Yeah, I remember having all of these t-shirts they're fucking wearing. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, that's the guy Nick from 12 Bar that I used to intern for back in the day. This guy right here. And that's the one. That's a connection I had with the 100. That's Benny Gold, I think, as well. I remember him from back in the day. I think he's got another brand that he does, I'm not too sure. The Crooks and Castles guys, they were moving like a fucking mafia. There's fucking Ben Hundreds, the other co-founder of the Hundreds, who was also really nice. Bobby Hundreds there. Yeah, this is fucking legendary, this picture, man. Yeah, this is when streetwear was. Oh yeah, this is the other guy that was involved in 12 Bar. I forgot his name. He was another guy involved in 12 Bar too. Really nice, man. This is my first intern job back in the day. It was actually fucking I got paid in fucking travel cards and free clothes. I fucking loved it, man. So fucking fun. And yeah, there's a Paisley hoodie. Honestly, this hoodie did numbers on the street, man. I wish they would re-release it. Maybe David Rivera, the new creative director, will as a homage. I wish they re-released it because this Paisley hoodie did so much damage on the streets. I think the one that everybody wanted was the white one. I think the white one came first. That was the one that you could dye because obviously the Paisley was white. You could dye that and it would, end up looking amazing. That's Nick Terchet from Diamond and Co Supply. But the one that I had was a black one. I don't think I ever had the white one. I had the black one. The black one is the one that I had. Honestly, man, the Paisley hoodie did absolutely damage on the streets. People went crazy for that shit, man. Like that sold out so fucking fast. And I think that might have been around the same time people were obsessing over shark hoodies. I think maybe I'm misremembering it, but I think that was also around the time that people were obsessing over shark hoodies. So this is also a good time to kind of get involved in the whole hoodie hype. So I hope they re-release this at some point. I really fucking do. I love the Hundreds Paisley hoodie. All of a sudden, you had kids of color moving onto the block and being loud, smoking and a lot of weed out front and just having fun building a new generation to the Bobby Hundreds. I used to throw a block party here every Labor Day. We would oh yeah, I remember the block parties too. They'd post pictures of the block parties. I'd always wanted to go, man. They post pictures of the barbecue, who was cooking and shit. It looked like a vibe. I used to throw a block party here every Labor Day. We would shut down Rosewood, break out a BBQ and grill. We did that to bring the neighborhood together because even though we were all competitors, we understood that streetwear as a market was still very small and we were all underdogs. So instead of working against each other on this one day, we would all come together and show support for one another, which I loved. And that was also the birth, I think that was around the time of the retail mafia, because that was something that happened in New York. I forgot the stores, what the names were, but the retail mafia thing was definitely a thing that happened in New York. But from what I remember, the LA scene was way more connected. They were way more friendly. They'll do a lot more collabs. They'll pop up in each other's pictures. They'd hang out with each other. But for whatever reason, the New York side of streetwear, the stores, they were highly competitive. Highly, highly competitive. By the early 2010s, it was off to the races and the Hundreds and Fairfax other brands drawing huge lines that would stretch the end of the block. Streetwear lovers of all stripes came to visit. Tourists from Tokyo, foreign kids from Minnesota, celebrity kids including Jonah Hill, Morrissey to Kid Cudi and Drake. It wasn't just the goods that brought the people of Fairfax earlier. It was the organic, community-focused vibe, the type that big brands twist themselves in knots trying to achieve in 2025. Fairfax brands, especially the Hundreds, were a huge influence to us in Philly, says Kai Sao, the co-founder of Philly boutique P's and Q's. Who stocked the Hundreds since 2009. Wow, that's OG. When we opened Abacus Takeout, the predecessor to P's and Q's, these were the brands that we wanted and we felt like we made it when we got the Hundreds. Yeah, imagine, man. Honestly, this is, oh, look at this OG picture of the Hundreds of Tyler, the creator, with Jasper. I forgot this guy's name in the middle. But yeah, this is back in the day. I think these guys are also super responsible. Maybe everybody knows this already because Tyler's got the Supreme shirt. But I think these guys, Odd Future, were very responsible for breaking Supreme to the mainstream, especially to the kids. I was wearing it before then anyway. You know, I was wearing Supreme way before I found out who Odd Future were. But I think for the kids that were Odd Future age, they definitely benefited from these guys wearing Vans and Converses and being into skateboarding and listening to music that wasn't just hip hop and shit. Like that's where I think a lot of those kids got their taste. I think a lot of kids, they wouldn't probably admit it, but I think a lot of them got their taste in music, or they became eclectic based on following the Odd Future crew, the internet, all these type of dudes from their kind of crew. I think that definitely helped to inform their music taste and their clothing. The creativity community that spawned from Fairfax and reached critical mass and the success of Odd Future influenced and impacted streetwear worldwide. Some of today's biggest movers and shakers cut their teeth at Fairfax in the blog era, all of which was documented by the Hundreds as part of the long-running blog, meaning that even if you couldn't make it to Fairfax, you could still get on an underground view of what was happening and see what the talent was bubbling. Yeah, I used to love it. I used to be on the Hundreds blog every day. I read every article. I remember they went through different iterations. They had guest writers, contributors. Then it ended up being like a place where people were submitting articles to write. Then it was different articles written there, like the website called Honey back in the day that used to exist. Like I used to be obsessed with the Hundreds, honestly, obsessed with the Hundreds so fucking much. The 100 Supreme and BAPE were my fucking. Those are my North Stars. Blah blah blah. Fairfax was a hub and a neutral zone where people from all around the city and the world could connect, says Kelsey Lynch, the founder of Black and Bricks and Woods, and Los Angeles native who in the full circle moment collaborated with the hundreds in 2019. It all happened, and the friendship and the togetherness and established wound up setting the tone for the culture currently. Sorry. Actually, I think what's that hat store? There's a hat brand I think that was launched on the hundreds. I think he doesn't get enough credit for that. Also, a lot of brands launched on the hundreds, like legitimately. They got their fucking first sort of pop by being featured on the hundreds. Sorry, Virgil. Bobby Hundreds taking a picture of one of their items with his SLR, uploading on his blog, tagging it, and people are fucking going crazy. I think, is it Brixton? I think one of those hat companies got their start from being featured on the hundreds. Fucking crazy. Fairfax was the blueprint, and the hundreds was the store setting the tone. The clothing almost sold itself because of the environment they created and the people that they brought on the block. Agree with that one. Fairfax was eventually reinvented itself once again, and the only thing that's constant in the city is change, and the ethos behind on Fairfax can still be felt as a new crop of establishments like Brother and Virgil Normal. But it's hard to say that whatever Fairfax becomes next will have a seismic impact on the era officially ended. The hundreds closed the store earlier this month. That's not to say that the brand itself is the thing of the past, though. It still carried on global network of stockists and the hundreds web store. The 100 Spring Summer 25 collection was released at the beginning of February. It continues. As one of the first ones in and the last ones out, we kept our promise on the block, says Bobby Hundreds in a recent Instagram story. To see this through, to finish what we started, to give it everything we got, which they did. You can't deny, man. They give it everything they got. They really put on for their fucking place. They represented their place. They weren't trying to be from anywhere else. Honestly, they really represented LA hard, West Coast hard, the brand hard. Like, no lie. Just a tagline. Says the hundreds is huge. However, the world has helped build Fairfax and make it feel much better. But yeah, I remember all of this shit, man. I remember this picture, seeing this picture first of the old Future crew sitting on the fucking curb. I remember this picture wanting to be there when seeing this barbecue during Labor Day thing going on. Like, honestly, I was obsessed with the hundreds so fucking much. He did such a good job of making that place together, make people feel seen and shit. A bunch of people launched their careers of being associated with that brand. Interns, everything, photographers, models even. Remember that one hot girl, I forgot her name, with the brunette girl that everyone was obsessed with on the Hypebeast forums back in the day when I was on there. Honestly, man. RIP to the hundreds Rosewood store. Good luck and Godspeed to Bobby Hundreds, also stepping down as creative director of the hundreds. Really has done amazing work there, left a legacy, left something worth fucking carrying on as well. And I'm really curious, really eager to see what this David Rivera kid does going forward with the brand. But I love his story, starting off as a product photographer, going on to be visual communications, head accessory designer, head of special projects, and now creative director at large for the 100. It's fucking a flex. It's such a flex. And it must be nice as well and cool for Bobby Hundreds himself to see somebody bragging or to see somebody listing the hundreds on their CV. That must be so gnarly. An idea that you thought of in your head, something that you sketched on the back of a notepad, a sketch pad, the back of a fucking beer mat, you know, just an idea you had to sell t-shirts and, you know, put your ideas out there and make clothing is now a brand, like a legit brand, a business that people, you know, essentially support their entire lives and families off the back of. And they're now listing it on a LinkedIn thing. That would blow my mind if it was me. Like, wow, people are putting my thing on their LinkedIn as an experience thing. That's fucking sick. So big up David Rivera, big up Bobby Hundreds, Godspeed to the hundreds, Godspeed to the hundreds. Moving on, let's go on to Stay Grounded. Big up Stay Grounded, the #1 streetwear platform, I think, for news and shit. I love fucking Stay Grounded. Fuck, you know, you heard of this? Look at this news. YM BAPE. You remember YM BAPE? The guy that would go around fucking beating up people that were wearing Supreme and shit. Do you remember? This guy has been found guilty for murder, conspiracy, and weapons charges. Fucking wild. I know he's been in prison for a while. I think he was in jail. Not in prison. I think he's been in jail for a long time. I feel like maybe a couple of years. He got picked up. But I guess they've now brought charges against him. Pretty fucking crazy, man. He's been guilty of murder, you know. So all that crash out stuff he was doing online, beating up people for wearing Supreme, that whole troll, that wasn't a troll. He was really about that life. Like, I still remember him beating up that kid that used to present on Complex. I forgot his name, but he had a fight with that. He absolutely beat the brakes off that guy. I think he's a light-skinned dude with dreads. Like, honestly, YM BAPE was a fucking moment. That was a moment as well. That was a moment in time. This fucking big, buff black dude. He wasn't that big when he was out. I think he's obviously buffer because he's been in jail. But he was huge. And he'd be going around, like, telling, you know, putting it on people if they were wearing Supreme and shit. Because he would love BAPE. So here are the charges. Courtesy of this, it says 1 count, what is it? What does it say here? 1 count of non-arrest. Murder of first contract killing. Second one is conspiracy. Then you got having a loaded firearm, another loaded firearm, and you got criminal solicitation. God almighty, bro. And this is him getting arrested, I think, yeah. This is when he got arrested the first time, right? I think this is him getting arrested the first time. Head to toe and BAPE, right?
Oh,
wearing that
shit
good
is going
BAPE.
down.
Wearing that good fucking BAPE. He's got the BAPE camo on as well. Which is a patchwork BAPE on him.
Oh, shit.
Let me run away.
Oh, shit.
You're not gonna go, man. You're not gonna go, bro.
Why
It's
y'all
too late.
taking me forward?
Oh, D.
Oh, man. I'm so sorry for him. So I think this is the day he got picked up. He never got released.
Yo, he talking about his car. That's that
I'm
Benz.
pretty sure. This is the day that he got
That
picked
Benzo.
up.
I know.
He's been sprayed across the car. He's been arrested. He's got good fit.
Oh,
bro.
D.
Yeah, he's got picked up in a good fit. BAPE hoodie, BAPE shorts, BAPE hat.
Yo, kid BAPE alive.
Fuck, man.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Yo.
Why BAPE is guilty of murder, you know? I get no charge of murder, not guilty, but yeah. This is, I remember, this is the video where he beat up that kid, the Supreme kid. Is it Complex kid? I forgot his name. I forgot who, I don't know who the kid's name is actually that he beat up, but he fucking beat the brakes off him, man. It's fucking sad.
Out here, call the cops, call you. Get off of work. I'm from this hood too. Suck my dick. You work at Supreme? Fuck you. You work at Supreme? Fuck you too. You work at Supreme? Fuck you too, pussy. You got a Supreme harem. Hey yo, fuck you, homie. Fuck Supreme and fuck your man for wearing Supreme. Y'all niggas is pussy. What up? Fuck Supreme. Supreme K.
Oh my god, man, this guy.
All day. Ape out here.
I guess I shouldn't be too surprised that he's guilty of murder. I just thought he was just a bully, like, you know, aggressive New York guy. I didn't know he was out here fucking actually murdering people. Madness, bro. Yeah. This is a caption from him. YM BAPE. Y'all wonder why I wear these boxers? Ask Supreme New York why they're on my dick and why they keep shitting on me. Ape gang. Apes out here banging on my chest. Fuck Supreme. Supreme K. Supreme Killer. 1993. Look at him, bro. Supreme's on my dick. Supreme's on my body. Fuck them. BAPE head to toe. BAPE kid, honestly. If he was out and about now, I think he would have modeled for BAPE by now. I think BAPE would have brought him in. I think if he was free, still doing what he was doing, he definitely, I feel like, would be a model for one of their BAPE lookbooks. Oh, big up God's favorite. Yeah, that's Rax. The guy he beat up was Rax. That's it. Yeah, he beat up Rax.
I'm gonna tell you what's going on. Fuck Supreme. I'm an ape, nigga.
I love it, man. I love it. I fucking love it. Honestly, I fucking love it. And this is a post from the BAPE official fucking, is it Twitter? Yeah, Twitter account. Recently, there were incidences where certain individuals causing social media frenzies by creating nuisance to other brands. We are not in any way associated with these individuals. We do not endorse such disrespectful behavior. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they wouldn't have got him in, but I think they would have. It's good clout. It's good for the marketing. I think it would have worked pretty well, but he's not getting out anytime soon because it looks like he's been fucking
I'm gonna tell you what's going
charged with murder. He's been fucking charged with murder. I'm curious to see what the story is behind this. I'm sure somebody's gonna break it on YouTube. Someone's gonna break it down. But I'm curious to see who he murdered. Was it somebody that he murdered during his YM BAPE era when he was actually putting it on people? Somebody that was Supreme? Did he kill somebody that was Supreme? Did he get that far? Or is this something tied to his past? Like maybe he was a street guy before he got involved in streetwear and stuff, and maybe he got wrapped up in some shit and he got arrested for that. Who knows? But I'm curious to see how this breaks down. But still, free YM BAPE. Free YM BAPE. Sad to see. Free YM Blood Clot BAPE. Moving on. Unfortunate news. Unfortunate news here comes to the BBC. RIP. Teenager guilty of a nightclub shooting. This happened quite recently actually. So RIP this guy called, whose name? Shaquille Graham. RIP Shaquille Graham was shot in the throat. Fucking hell. Fucking brutal. A 19-year-old has been found guilty of murdering a man he shot at point blank range outside of a South London nightclub. Like, what the fuck did this guy do to deserve getting shot in the face like that? Point blank. Like, what could he have done? Honestly, what could he have done? Tyler Roberts Emmanuel shot Shaquille Graham, 30. And also, why is a 19-year-old shooting a 30-year-old? What sort of beef could they have? Like, on March 10th in 2024, after lying in wait for 20 minutes outside the venue, Mr. Graham never stood a chance, said the prosecutor. He collapsed and died immediately. The Old Bailey heard how Graham's murder was planned, with the defendant making a dummy run on a scooter in the hours before the shooting. However, the motive of the attack remains a mystery, the courts heard. So how does somebody plan a killing so meticulously, but then still get caught for it? I wonder where he slipped up. He did a dummy run and all sorts, laid in wait and still got caught. Roberts Emmanuel will be sentenced on the 4th of April. Jurors heard how the gunman, dressed in dark clothing and a mask and a balaclava, left his grandmother's house in Linden Grove in Peckham in the early hours of 10th of March and drove to Silk's nightclub in Calford. Yeah, I know Silk's. I went there ages ago. That actually might be a good location to do the whole club review thing that I want to do. After circling the area, Roberts Emmanuel lay in wait opposite the club until Mr. Graham left. He got on the scooter, walked to Mr. Graham, and without pause shot him through the throat. The bullet travelled up through the neck into Graham's skull, where he lodged itself. God almighty. How did that happen then? So what, did he shoot him point and the bullet went up his neck into his head? Or did he put the gun underneath his chin? Either way, fucking hell, what a brutal way to go. R.I.P. to that guy, man. What's his name? Shaquille Graham. R.I.P. Shaquille Graham. The bullet travelled up his neck into Graham's skull where it lodged itself. The gunman then returned to his grandmother's house, the court heard. Whilst it was obvious that the killing of Mr. Graham was planned, the background remains obscure. The jury heard that there are key strands of evidence that tie Roberts Emmanuel to the murder. The scooter used by the gunman to travel to and from the scene was a Cabo Wolf Warrior 11, a model that the defendant would try to buy the month before. The address of the gunman used as a base was covered by CCTV, along with the mobile phone evidence. This showed the defendant was there at key times. So I guess to get away with a murder, you just need to not be there, innit? You just have to have no evidence tying you there. If you can obscure your face, and if you can ensure you don't have, there's no footage, there's no mobile phone pings of your phone in that area, you can basically avoid getting caught for most murders, it sounds like, right? If you cover your face and shit. They might be able to link you for your body or whatever else, but if there's no evidence of you being in the area, and they can't get a clear, direct image of you actually pulling the trigger, then I guess everything else is he said, she said. But maybe I'm wrong. The CCTV showed that the defendant had made a dummy run to Silk's nightclub on his scooter at 7 p.m. on the night of the murder. Although the gun used in the attack was not recovered, the bullets and the casings found were typical of a handgun consistent with the gun the defendant was seen carrying on CCTV. Roberts Emmanuel claimed the gunman was a relative whom he had named as X, who he had said was using the same address as him as Peckham. God almighty, man. I'd love to know what happened and what caused this guy's death and what the reason was, because shooting somebody like that is very personal. It means that somebody had a grudge, something very deep happened, because there's no other way to describe such a senseless killing. And can you imagine the people outside the club as well that had to fucking witness that and how traumatized they must be off the back of it? Fucking hell. R.I.P. Shaquille Graham. R.I.P. Shaquille Graham. What a tragic way to go out. What a tragic way to go out. Another bit of tragedy here, courtesy of the fucking BBC. Rail fares rise, piles on misery, campaigners say. And I agree. Honestly. Fares rising, but the service being absolutely shitty and subpar and not consistent is typical UK shit. Typical UK shit. Let's read. The latest increase in rail fares in England and Wales is set to pile further misery on hard-pressed householder, campaign has said. From Sunday, regulated rail fares in England and Wales have risen by 4.6%, and the prices of most rail cars have increased by £5. £5. And most of these fucking rail lines, you can't even get decent Wi-Fi. There's not clean toilets. They're fucking late. They're slow. They're packed. Not comfortable. Fuck off, man. The government says fares need to rise so it can invest in the rail system, but the Transport Secretary Heidi Alexander acknowledged passengers were frustrated by delays and cancellations. But that's the thing though, like, it would be far better if we had that fucking H2C line, right? that massive line, I forgot what it was called, that was meant to link, you know, in London to parts of the to the middle of England, to the north and shit. That would have been fucking amazing. That would have been fucking worth it, to have the ability to commute from here to Leeds, back and forth, Manchester, back and forth, Birmingham, Brighton, whatever it may be. That would have been fucking awesome, but we don't. And also the standard of the trains themselves are fucking terrible. Really and truly. Like, even just the quality of them sitting in them, like, ay. The campaign for better transport said people were being priced off the rail fares by rare fare increases. The rail fare rise for the regulated tickets included those season tickets covering commuter routes in England, some off-peak returns on long-distance journeys, and flexible tickets for the travelling in and around the cities was also on the rise. Train operators set their own prices for the unregulated fares, of course. Privatization fucking ruined it, but these tend to increase by a similar amount by regulated fares, including on the lines that have already been re-nationalised. About 45% of the train fares are regulated in England and Wales and Scotland, but 4.6% of the fare rises to travel in England and Wales only. The cost of most rail cards has gone up by £5 from about £30, but disabled rail cards remain the same. The campaign for better transport said the fare increases would add pressure to households. Michael Solomon Williams, head of campaign of the group, said that high ticket prices were the #1 barrier for getting more people to travel by rail. 100% agree, and called for the government to bring down the fares as part of the rail reform. People are being hit hard. People want to take the train and are being priced off the rails. At the same time, fuel duties are being frozen. Governments have the choice and it can choose to intervene. The campaign around the group said of the 40 commuter routes in London, annual season tickets for free will top 6,000 for the first time, with the other 10s already there. Annual season tickets for Canterbury and Southampton and London will go up more than £300 to 7,100 to 7,477. Honestly, there's not a single train in the UK that's worth £7,000. Not a single train in the UK that's worth £7,000. And for me personally, I've noticed, especially since the last few months, going to Amsterdam specifically, and also going to Berlin and traveling a little bit around the city a little bit more, because I don't really, when I usually go to Berlin, I don't usually take the tram or the underground. I just walk everywhere like a fucking psycho. But I did take a lot of the train. I did take a lot of buses, a lot of trams last time I went, just to kind of mix it up, and because I was staying in a bit of a different place. And honestly, the standard of trains in Europe, the tram system is so above what we have in England. Is crazy. And it also frustrates me and makes me a little bit sad that I never took advantage of the UK or that train system in Europe when we were in the EU. Because now you can still travel to Europe, it's a little bit more difficult, you can't stay as long, but I should have taken more advantage of traveling, you know, by train around Europe when we were in the EU, because the train services and the quality of them is so good, especially those double-decker trains that they have in Germany, and they have them also in Amsterdam. I'm assuming other places in Germany too, and other places of Europe. Loads of room everywhere, Wi-Fi, good fucking toilets, nice comfortable chairs, space to put your luggage, to take your bike, like everything. Like you can literally commute and have a fucking whale of a time on these trains. There's even some ones have little bars and snack areas you can fucking eat at. Fucking great. But here in London, like, or in England specifically, you have trains that sometimes arrive late, sometimes never arrive, sometimes get cancelled before they arrive, sometimes take super long to get there. You know, especially that train to go to Manchester. Before it used to be Virgin, I'm not sure if it's still Virgin, but that train that leaves from Manchester that leaves from London to go to Manchester, oh my god, that train is crazy, especially during the weekend. Like I remember once paying a ticket to go to Manchester. I think it was like a £150 rail ticket price I paid, and on the way back I had to sit on the floor next to the toilet. There was no space on the way back, even though I paid that £150 for a rail ticket to come return from London Manchester. I had to sit on the floor next to the toilet, and I think I sat next to the doors where the toilets are, so every time someone went, it would open. I had to kind of move my back, and it was that full. Everyone was sitting on the floor, standing up, the whole ride from Manchester to London, which I think is what, maybe more than 2 hours, maybe 4 hours. Fucking crazy, man. The quality is so bad, and we just put up with it. We don't protest, we don't strike. And you know what, actually, in the last few months or years in general, it's made me completely understand people who bump the train. Before, you kind of look down on them and kind of be a little bit aggrieved. especially when it's older people. But I totally get it. I totally get it, man. Stepping out in London, especially underground, whatever, you're paying £10 minimum every day. It's a fucking lot of money. So I have sympathy, and I completely understand people who fucking bump the train, who jump the barriers. Like, I get it. And if you can get away with it, I get it. What I've noticed though is increased security. I live by a fairly small station, and there's security there in the morning from like 8 a.m. in the morning, making sure that people don't fucking jump the gates. Like, it's crazy. I've seen way more plain clothes, dark clerk. I think nowadays in train stations, they have them wearing black. I see way more of those guys in there. Actual police at another station near me. Actual legitimate police in the morning. So clearly, the police presence is because a lot of people are bumping the train. It's not because of just like snotty black kids and stuff and ragamuffins from the hood. It's a lot of regular normie people, 9-to-5ers, who are bumping the train regularly. They're going to work bumping. I think the only easy way to bump the train really nowadays is probably to go before your work time starts. So leave an hour before, and then you're going to be fine. On the way home, usually it's not a lot of like security, but going to work, as long as you leave like before those guys start their shift, you're probably fine. But I don't blame you if you bump the train. Crazy expensive. Adrian Rose, 50, from Sittingbourne in Kent, says hiking rail fares when they are already crazy expensive is not justifiable. For him and his wife and 2 daughters to drive to Kent to see relatives in Newcastle is no more than £100 in fuel for the family. Whereas to go by train, it can cost them £400 if they're booking close to the departure date. Oh my God. So £100 worth of petrol is still a lot of money to drive your family from Kent to Newcastle, or pay £400. Fucking hell. The cost is prohibitive, he says. I would happily take the train, but for over 4 times the cost, I could have a week's holiday for that money. Exactly. For £400, you could probably go to fucking Copenhagen for the weekend and have spending money and book a hotel. Fucking hell. I can work on the train, and I believe it's environmentally proper to do so. But the 68-year-old Celia Downey from Bristol, who has a senior rail card, also believes prices are too high for families, and says sometimes the experience of the cramped carriage is absolutely appalling. Heidi Alexander said she understood that passengers' frustrations that fares keep rising despite unacceptable levels of delays and cancellation. However, she said that the lowest absolute increase in fares was for 3 years. We inherited a rail that was not fit for purpose. Yeah, but make it fit for purpose then. Let's stop pointing fingers at the old administration or the old government. Make it fit for purpose, man. We don't care about what the fucking Tories did. You're in power now. Make it fucking fit for purpose. These fucking guys. And I know it will take some time to trust to be restored, with trains turning up on time when and where they're needed. Alex Robertson, the chief executive of Watchdog of Transport Focus, said its research had found a clear mismatch between ticket prices and service people receive. This needs to change, he said, saying that the passengers rightly expect to see improvements for the money that they have paid. The government plans to renationalize rail firm operators' contracts either at the end or reach a break soon. However, although 3 rail operators are set to be renationalized this year, Southwestern Rail, CTC and Great Angular is not expected to bring ticket prices down. Of course they're not. Of course they're not. Because if they can get away with fucking rising their ticket prices, why would they fucking not rise it, okay? I fucking hate it. It is sitting in a new... What's the continuity here? It is sitting up a new arm's length body, British Rail... What's it? The Great British Railways, which is a GBR, to take over the service contracts currently held by the private firms. Conservative Shadow Transport Secretary Gareth Bacon said prices increases show that Labour's pledges to make rail fares cheaper were meaningless, and commuters were instead facing chaos, confusion and cancellations. Labour's radical plans to hand control of railways to the unions will only worsen the services. Under new leadership, the Conservatives would put passengers first, ensuring that any fare increases are fair and proportionate. But still, they're not talking about the service being improved. They're talking about the fare prices being proportional or in line with the service. No, just give us good fucking trains. Make them reliable. Please, for the love of God. These motherfuckers, man. Honestly, if you're bumping trains out there, I get it. Continue doing so. Just don't get caught. Because that shit can bite you in the ass and they come after you, bailiffs and criminal records, all that sort of malarkey. If you're going to bump the trains, just don't get caught. That's all you need to do. Make sure you don't get caught and you're Gucci. If you get caught, you are fucked. But if you don't get caught, you're nice. Okay? That's basically it. Fucking hell. Absolutely terrible living in London, honestly. Or the UK in general. The standard is horrible. Talking about horrible standards. Man. A really shocking and sad state of affairs. This is courtesy of, this Twitter outrage that's been happening on social media. So I have to be honest, right? I sit here and complain a lot about the standards of like black barbers, but I have to fucking have some. I have to take a step back and have some, reflection, because it seems like the hairstylist for black girls is even worse. I thought the black barbers in the UK or in London were bad because the standard is all over the place and they treat you like shit when influencers or celebrities are in there. If you make an appointment and somebody more clouded up or famous comes before you or after you, they'll sometimes make you stand up off from your chair and have a celebrity sit down there instead. The standards are all over the places. The prices don't match the level of service. Like, honestly, black barbers in London are a bit of a madness. But it seems like black hairstylists in the UK, in America, in the world, for these black girls is fairly bad too. Because this clip went viral showcasing this black hairstylist in America who was dragging this young girl by her hair through her house because she refused to pay. That was the first thing that went viral. This girl refused to pay for her hair treatment, so this business owner decided to put her hands on this person and drag them up through the house to get their money. Some people think it's kind of funny to see that sort of stuff, right? I would, in my opinion. I don't think it's that bad. If you didn't pay, you're going to get beaten up. Going to someone's place of business and not paying is a bit mad. But then there's truth of the story came out, which is a little bit more distressing. This is her getting dragged. She's 15 years old, dragging her by her hair in the house. She's there on the floor, feeling embarrassed. She's looking at the camera. The girl gets up, puts herself together. So it's a bit of a sad thing to see, right? And in the next video, you can see the girl is clearly very young.
Take her hair out. She don't want to pay me. What the fuck? No, bitch. Your whole face is gonna be on this.
Yeah, she gonna find out when I get there.
I don't get no fucks. I ain't finding out shit on bro. I'm about to call my uncle right now. Your ass to get left here, old ass nigga. She don't want.
So she's honestly going at the kid, and the kid looks really young. Now, you know what's been discovered off the back of this? You know what's really heartbreaking off the back of this? The kid actually did pay. The confusion happened because I think her brother's the one that sent the payment, and the brother sent the payment to the wrong Cash App. I think the girl, the hairdresser, the hairstylist, has two Cash App addresses that are the same, similar addresses. So the kid sent the money to the wrong one, and the woman didn't see the money on there. So I guess the kid maybe panicked because feel like the money wasn't being paid and tried to leave. And then this woman put her hands on this kid to prevent her to leave and cause this whole commotion, which I feel like is completely unacceptable. No matter if the girl didn't pay or did pay, fighting somebody, getting into this level of physical altercation over a haircut, over a hair, session, whatever, is completely over the top and shouldn't have happened in any way, shape or form. And she has to be honest as well, this woman, she's kind of lucky this girl doesn't have more crash outy type relatives, because if this would have happened to my sister, if I would have heard this happen to my sister, I would have aired the whole place out. I would have went fucking red. I would have went fucking crazy. Like, putting your hands on somebody like this, treating them this way because they didn't pay allegedly is fucking insane. But I wonder if this is a consequence of these young girls running these businesses when they have no reason to, Like, this girl is how old? This girl might be like 18, 19, I think. Maybe around that sort of age. Running a business, trying to be an entrepreneur when you probably have no reason to be so. Maybe your level of skill in terms of doing hair isn't really where it's meant to be anyway at that kind of age. Maybe you should be apprenticing and interning somewhere more often. But I do feel like this is maybe a consequence of the girl boss era. Everyone wants to be a girl boss. Everyone wants to have their own business. Everyone wants to show off that picture of them holding the keys to their own studio and having a bit of fun. But what they don't want to do is run a business professionally. And a professional business wouldn't do this. A professional business doesn't fight a person because they didn't fucking pay, or drag the person by their hair, by their hoodie through the store like this in such an embarrassing, demeaning, disrespectful way. You don't do this to people. Even if the girl didn't pay, you sort it out later, or you sort it out somewhere. You charge the person's card. Like, there are other ways you can go about getting the money. You can maybe find them, get lawyers involved, bailiffs involved, whatever. But doing this to this young girl, especially when the confusion I feel like was on the fault of the hairstylist, because it sounds like she has two similar Cash App addresses that easily got mixed up. She should never have done this. And she's really lucky that that young girl hasn't got family that were willing to crash out and go crazy over it when they did find out what was fucking going on. But here's also a reply. So where's the reply? I think there's a reply somewhere here from the girl herself. I think this is the one here. There's a reply from the girl where she kind of tries to clarify what happened and try to explain it away. This is, I think, the hairstylist. At the end of the day, I was never paid. Again, she doesn't write paid correctly. Or maybe that's the American way of spelling paid. At the end of the day, I was never paid, nor asked to confirm my Cash App. I told her I understand it was a mistake, but that was a mistake on her end and not mine's. And the style took way too long for me not to get paid, so she can get somebody else to send it. If not, I will have to take the style out, because if not, I'm getting paid. You can't keep the service. She said yes, somebody is going to send it, and I waited patiently for somebody to send it, which they never did. While I was paying attention, she left out of the shop and started to run. I did not know her age until after. We were the same height, size, and my booking site says 18 plus. So what the fuck? How was I supposed to know? Come on, you can tell that girl's 18. You can tell that girl's younger than 18. You can tell straight away from looking at her. Come on, man, that's not an excuse. How's I supposed to know? I should have carried the situation differently, but I should have carried what? But I felt like I felt played with, because I've been in the studio before. I was still never paid, so I posted it and said I'm going to get my money one way or another. I never picked and chose because of her age. I wasn't even aware of her age until after the situation. I think the issue, again, she keeps stressing about the age. I think the issue isn't about the age. The issue is just about how unprofessional it is to be dragging a client of yours through the shop by their hoodie because they allegedly haven't paid for their service. That's the problem. It's not about people thinking, it's not about the age. The age obviously makes it worse, but you should know how to deal with a situation like that in a better way than getting into a physical altercation, especially when you consider that that's somebody's sister, that could be somebody's girlfriend, that could be somebody's niece, and people will crash out on their relatives, especially when it's involving young girls. People will go crazy. So her doing this could have caused way more problems than it needed to be, and this could have easily been sorted out with a stern conversation or whatever else it may be over the phone. And she could have easily as well figured out the person was 15 via some conversations sat in the chair, and she could have refused service and said, look, you're too young, you need to have a fucking a supervised adult here with you, or you need to bring the cash beforehand, whatever. You could have other ways of kind of dealing with it, but I think this is another example of some of these hairstylists, you know, being more pressed to ensure that they kind of look a certain way on social media, but not really caring about the holistic idea around the business, about running it a certain way, and obviously the service being good and the final result being amazing, but also the whole point of it. Like when people walk in, when people sit down in a chair, everything has to be, you know, a bit of a vibe. And you can't be having people feel like it's a vibe if they're going to feel like they're going to be threatened and dragged through the shop if they get the fucking Cash App wrong, which I feel like is her fault. I have to be honest. I feel like getting the Cash App wrong or having loads of different Cash Apps is definitely the fault of this woman and not the fault of this young girl. Because if that was the truth and it was sent to a wrong address, you can still withdraw it from that old address. What's the problem of not withdrawing it from the other address? Unless maybe she doesn't, the bank linked to it is in arrears or something. I don't see any issue. If it's been sent to a wrong address, but it's your address, you can easily just send that payment to yourself. I don't see the problem of doing that in the slightest, but this girl did that. She went fucking crazy. And social media actually responded well and kind of went crazy on her and kind of called out all the nonsense. This is a screenshot, I guess, from somebody proving that the money was sent to the wrong address. The caption says, as all you know, that was my little sister in the video. I guess this is the brother probably speaking. She literally just turned 15. She never tried to run off. My sister thought she could pay with Apple, but the girl didn't have Apple Pay. So my brother sent it via Cash App, but sent the payment to the wrong Cash App. We will have a video posted soon. Fucking hell, man. Honestly. Horrible. I feel bad for the little girl, man. That's super traumatizing, very embarrassing to be dragged up and down the store like that because of some confusion over a Cash App that was mostly the fault of the hairstylist. But that's not it. That's not all. This is probably worse. And then obviously this is a picture of them after the fact. The brother looking pissed off that he has to be there in the first place and also desperately wanting to crash out. That's the type of situation where I would willingly crash out on the hairstylist. I know she's a girl, but that's the sort of thing, like, if you hit my sister like that, or you drag her through the shop by her fucking hoodie and demean her like that, like, that's something that would give you the excuse, I think, to put hands on a woman. I'm not gonna lie. Like, that's something you don't do to people's sisters in the slightest. But that's not it. That's not the worst thing. This might be the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And this is also another reason why I have to put a lot of respect on black women and their ability to be patient at these hair salons, because, oh my God, I thought black barbers were bad. Look at the attitude this black hairstylist has with one of her clients, and look what happens. This black woman sits down to have her hair done at this hairstylist's home, whatever studio, and she makes a passing comment that the studio is cold. And the hairstylist, I guess, takes that as some sort of form of disrespect, flies off the handle, gets rattled, loses her head, and essentially chucks out the client and tells her to leave. If you think it's cold, leave. Like, what? Honestly, insane service. Insane service.
I don't need this energy. I'm
Okay.
so sorry. My place is clearly not suitable for you, and there's nothing
I
I can
didn't
much
say
do
that.
I can offer for you. Everything you've complained about since you've got here, this place is not suitable for you.
I didn't once say
There's
that.
not much
I didn't
can
once
do.
say that.
Everything you implies here is not good enough for you.
I didn't
because
say
it's
that.
Too cold.
I didn't say that once.
I'm so sorry. I can't accommodate you right now. This heating not working is not.
That is insane, by the way. Making a comment that it's cold when it factually is cold, and then the hairdresser getting personally offended and chucking you out, says more about them than you. This is definitely an insecurity that they have, you know? They haven't been able to sort out the heating. Maybe they can't afford the heating. Maybe they do the black person thing and just leaving it until the last minute to fix it. But this says more about the hairstylist than it says about the woman. That she'd get this pressed, that she'd get this offended, that somebody made a comment that is cold. Absolutely wild.
It's out of my control.
And I said that that's fine. I never said that that's not
You can
okay.
leave now.
Got to her living room. To be honest and transparent with you, I really didn't like that interaction that we just had. Interaction where I tried to voice that I'm really cold. You have to be mindful of how you speak to your clients. I told you that you can't wear your shoes. No guest can wear their outdoor shoes into my house. That's fair enough. What do you want me to do? One way is, if you knew that your radiators weren't working, maybe just let your clients know for the day that, hey, I don't have heating today. Wrap up warm. No, that's not my responsibility. I don't have the time. Do you know how many clients I have? I can't be telling every client that my heater is not working. Your expectations are too high.
Your expectations are too high. Working heater, especially in London or in England in general, when it's cold over here. Your expectation to have a working heater or to be in a place of business that's warm is too high. I guess the girl, to be fair to the girl, I guess she wouldn't want to put on her social media, hey, by the way, my salon is, the heating in there isn't working at the moment, FYI, wrap up warm, because you're afraid you might lose business. But surely that is better than having this video go viral, because now that woman's business is done for. Everybody's now seen how you treat clients, how you, like, she let this woman leave with half her hair done, if not, it's not even half. I think most of it isn't done. She let her leave the fucking salon like this just because she made a passing comment that the fucking room was cold. Like, this woman's business is fucking cooked.
You had too high expectations. Expectations lead to disappointment. I said,
Jesus Christ.
You're mad. Like, you ended up
Jesus
suggesting
Christ.
that I should put my coat on. Once you asked if I wanted my coat, that was great. That was customer service. That was a solution. You could have entered that conversation with the solution. I'm not saying go and fetch some wood and make me a real fire right now. Sis went on to look at what I'm wearing. Yeah, but what you're wearing is not sufficient for this cold.
And the funny thing about it as well, like, black girls in general pay quite a lot for their hair. They spend a lot of money. Like, black girls take a lot of pride in their appearance, similar to black guys. Like, they don't cut corners. So it's even more wilder to think that somebody is paying you. Like, I can't imagine how much it costs for a black girl to get her hair done. I have no idea. Maybe it's like more than £300, I'm assuming, from the cost of the hair and whatever it may be and the service itself. It's probably more than 300 quid. So they're spending money, like money. And again, money shouldn't always equate with service, but surely give me some respect. Treat me with some level of respect. If I'm giving you £300 cash, right? If I'm giving you cash and you're probably not even paying taxes on that cash, right? If I'm giving you fucking cash, treat me with fucking respect. Get that fucking heater fixed. Hire a temporary space while the heater isn't fixed at your house. Do something. Buy some electric heaters. Do something, bro. Make the experience comfy. Make me wanna return. Because that's one thing that I do. I vote with my feet. I know some of you guys are the same. I vote with my feet. If I get terrible service at a barber, it will kill me. Like if I went to a barber and I told them to cut my hair a certain way and they did it anyway, or they didn't listen to my instructions, or they just treated me badly, I'm never coming back. So yes, you're going to get me for £30, right? You got me, you scammed me, you ran my pockets, congratulations. But best believe you're never getting money out of me again. And this is what's going to happen to this woman. She fucked her business because of just what? Pride, ego, like bloody hell.
When you're leaving your house, you should be prepared. I am paying you for a service. I don't know what I did to this babe that made her feel like her place wasn't good enough, because in the video that I ended up recording when it just got to the point of no return, she kept on going on about this place isn't really good enough for you.
Situation. Yes, she was upset because I told you you can't wear your shoes.
Yeah, but was I wrong for trying to tell you that?
I tried to offer other things and explain why things are not working.
And I said I appreciated you for doing
that. The body language, everything.
Jesus Christ.
I'm so sorry, my love. I can't work under these.
Threw me off, babe. I'm so sorry, my love. Oh my God. Throwing somebody out of your establishment because they're rude is so wild. Honestly, it's a business, man. Put up with it. Suck it up, man. Just deal with the fucking issue. You know, deliver the service and keep it moving. Yo, some of these girl bosses are wild, bro. Some of these girl bosses are fucking wild.
Conditions. I'm so sorry. If my place is not suitable enough for you, there's not much
I don't ever remember saying it. You're putting words in my mouth.
But it's the way you're behaving about it. That's what I'm trying to say.
Incorrect.
Body language, the same way you said my response was off, I'm telling you that your body language, the movements you were making,
that I was cold.
First is what you said, then it's your body language, then it's the movements you're making. The movements you're making were making me feel a little bit nervous. You're moving kind of mad. You're not making me feel comfortable out here. I can't have you in my space. I can't have you in my place of business. You're moving kind of mad.
It was cold. It doesn't make sense.
So you're trying to say you wasn't doing nothing like that?
Yeah, no. I said I did this because I was cold, and I tried to explain to you I was cold. You even told me I'm the one that came to your facilities without preparing myself, and I said I appreciate that, but thank you for letting me wear my coat.
That's fine. Unfortunately, this appointment is cancelled.
Oh my God, that was good. She let her beg and plead. Thinking she's gonna turn it around and say, I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of funny. She let her fucking she let her beg, and then in the end, unfortunately, this appointment is okay. I love when hood girls speak try to speak in like a proper business manner, but I still speak in fucking madness. Unfortunately, this appointment's now been cancelled. Honestly, this girl is brilliant, man. Big up this hairdresser.
The hair she does eats. But God, I am so grateful that she did not finish my hair. Customer service is everything. I'm not the only one that can do hair in this life. I just calmly voiced that it was too cold. And all of a sudden, that's me saying this place is not good enough. Jesus. I don't know what projection that was or why she felt like that was me saying this place is not good enough for me.
To be fair, this girl does have very expressive eyes. You know, she does have very expressive eyes. So maybe when she rolled her eyes or like did a little shock face, it made that girl feel really bad. Like she's got the kind of face where even if she doesn't say too many words, she could maybe hurt your feelings based on the way she moves her face. So I could kind of see where the hairstylist is coming from, but still, this reaction is so over the top, so unnecessary, so stupid, so fucking dumb. And really, like I said before, it's going to have permanent consequences for the success or lack thereof of this girl's business going forward, because people are going to avoid her like the plague.
It's clear that it's not good enough for you since all the complaints that you've made. Guys, I made one singular.
This appointment is cancelled, okay?
Okay.
Yeah?
Thank you very much. I guess I can't just say how...
Oh, I love it. I love with the gospel music playing in the background, by the way. I love it with the gospel music playing in the background. Do you hear that? There's gospel music playing in the background, and this girl's getting offended that a client said it was too cold and chucking them out mid-sesh. Mid-hair appointment, she's chucking them out on their asses while gospel music plays. I fucking love it. I love us. I love us so much.
I feel.
You can say how you feel. That's absolutely fine.
That's so crazy.
That's absolutely fine.
You can say how you feel, just not in my house. You say how you feel, you leave. You can say what you want, but you're not free from the consequences of saying what you want. You can say as much as you want about my business outside of my house. Please leave.
But I think we both can learn from this then. Maybe my responses and
We can both learn from this. Oh, the passive aggressive gaslighting. I love it. Maybe we can both learn from this. Oh, this is beautiful.
maybe
But that's what I was trying to tell you.
Yeah, we can both.
But I was happy to from the start. I was happy to from the start. So what's wrong with resolving the tension?
It's the way it's been handled. That's what the issue is.
So I shouldn't have said anything until the last minute.
I did not.
Because that was what I was thinking. I was thinking, do I wait until the last minute to say something? But then I don't want it to be a hostile environment because you're playing gospel. Like it's a good space that you have here.
It's a good vibe, but it's cold as fuck. I mentioned it, and then you got demonic on me. It's not very God-fearing. It's not very angelic of you to be throwing out a client mid-session while playing God-fearing music in the background. I fucking love this so much. This interaction is the best.
Yeah.
Anyone in my
But I don't. That's not okay.
Wow.
Outside, you should use your common sense and dress appropriately. Oh, so maybe you should take accountability for not dressing for the weather. No problem. I'll take accountability, and you don't have to take accountability for anything. I sat down and then I realized, you know what, I didn't even mean to sit down. At that point, I realized that there was no safe space for me to really say that I felt cold and there was nothing that was going to be done about it. So I just sat down and I was like, you know what, I know you have a lot of clients today, so maybe let's just, she said, yeah, no, it's not happening. I can take your hair out and then you can leave. Actually, I'm going home to get to this weekend. It's either you finish my hair or I'm walking out like this. I'm not finishing your hair. Like we're not doing this.
Oh my god.
I don't feel comfortable. You don't feel comfortable. I cannot make this up. Even slightly feel embarrassed at the video. I can hear in my voice that I still wanted to get my hair done. So I was still trying to understand it. But really, I should have left about 20 minutes ago. I'm definitely not perfect. I wanted to understand what I had done, how I could have communicated it better. It's clear that it's not good enough for you because I'm cold. Now you're talking about never have I had to cancel an appointment like this. I've never had to disclose my medical history just to justify why I'm cold. It's the first for everyone.
Absolutely brilliant video. Absolutely brilliant video. And again, showcasing just how hard it is to get good service from black-owned businesses sometimes. I don't know why this is the case. I think this was partly the reason why back in the day I had dreams, aspirations of opening my own salon. Because I remember back in the day when I would go to fucking barbers and places, wherever, the thing that used to annoy me the most was making appointments at barbers for 3 p.m. Let's say, getting there for 2:55 and there being a person in the fucking chair of the barber you're meant to cut with who looks like they just started. You're like, hold on, but I booked it for 3 p.m. Like, so when am I going to get my hair cut then? And then guess what? You're now waiting until 4 p.m. Maybe 4:30, depending on how often the barber picks up their phone. And that just being a norm. You might book your appointment at 4, but you'll sit down at fucking 5 or 6 or 7 or 8. Crazy. Or the other thing that I always used to hate in black barbershops, you'd get in a chair and you tell them specifically how you want your hair to be cut. You tell them specifically, especially me with it, it's not usually about the haircut. It's usually about the beard and the fucking mustache and shit, because black barbers have a particular way of like cutting mustaches. If you know, you know, right? They give you, everyone kind of gets the fucking Bulldog Empire triangle, right? The little, almost a bit of a Nazi tash, which I hate. I hate the little triangle. I hate the narrowing. I hate the fucking taking off the top. I just want to keep it thick and just trim the edges underneath. I say that all the time in fucking black barbershop. Keep it thick, trim the edges underneath and line it up. And guess what they do? They fucking lower it. They fucking lower the fucking, you know, the amount. They trim the top. They fucking do all sorts of manner of nonsense that I didn't say. And it happens all the time. And I remember one time getting so frustrated, I sat on a train and fucking wrote a whole fucking business plan, an idea of a barbershop I'd open, in terms of it having good Wi-Fi, having a good sound system, having charge ports that you could just put your phone in and leave it and not have to use it while you're getting your haircut. You could just clip it in there and leave it while the barber was cutting you. It'd have a fucking great magazine rack with zines and great books and coffee table books and shit. It'd have a big rack coat hanger where you could put your coats on and wouldn't have to fucking pile them on top or get them underneath on certain things. It would be smell nice. It'd be nicely fucking interior designed and shit. That's why I remember writing it, because I got frustrated at some point. Like, these fucking guys are taking the piss when it comes to barbers, and it will be appointments. There'll be walk-ins, but it'll mostly be appointments. If you booked at 4 p.m., you'll be sitting there at 4 p.m. and there'll be good fucking barbers there and everything else going on. That's what attempted has happened. But now it also makes me believe, now I understand, or now no one can blame people like myself who sometimes go outside of our culture to get haircuts. I remember there was a time where I used to get my haircut in this place in Leytonstone that was next to a black barber shop. I forgot the branch. There's a chain of barbers. I think they're like they also have like tattoo iconography. I think they're known for doing tattoos and stuff. And I think it's owned by white people. I'm pretty sure. But they also have barbershops all around London. Like, it's a chain. And I remember going to one that was next to a black barbershop, and the amount of dirty looks I'd get, because I wouldn't go into the Caribbean shop, I'd go to the white one, was crazy. But that white barbershop, you'd book your appointment, and whoever cut my hair, usually there was this one Spanish guy there that would cut hair, who knew how to cut afro hair. I'd get my hair cut from him. He cut it fucking immaculately. They'd offer you a shot of whiskey if you wanted. I think it was part of their brand, Jameson's. You'd get your haircut on time. There'd always be good banter, good tunes playing, not super loud. The barber wouldn't answer their phone during the fucking haircut. Like, really professional service, and you'd pay the money and you'd glad to pay it. Over time, I stopped going there in general, but I remember people used to be giving me dirty looks walking past that fucking Caribbean barber and going into the white one because of it. But I bet you there's probably, I don't know if there is, but I bet you there must be some sort of white hairdresser, stylist, maybe a white gay guy out there who kills it with black hair. There must be somebody in the UK, I'm pretty sure. There's somebody out there who kills it, who a bunch of black girls go to because their service is just immaculate. They treat them with respect. They respect their time. The service is great. It's always a fun time being there. Good prices, blah, 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 blah. And you know what you're going to get. And some people might look at you a bit weird because you're going to this white person to go get your hair done. But now you know why. Because when you try to support one of your own, when you try to support somebody in the fucking same community as you, someone from the same place as you, this is how you get treated. And I guarantee you, the really sad thing about this, if this girl was white, I guarantee you she wouldn't have been treated this way. If this girl was a influencer, if she was on Love Island or something, or she was some fucking social media star, I guarantee you this hairstylist wouldn't have treated her this way. Which I also hate. Like, treat everybody with respect. But I guarantee you, if this person was white, or if there was some sort of celebrity influencer person, they wouldn't have got treated with this level of disrespect. This is fucking crazy. Making somebody, or chucking somebody out from your salon because they complained that it was hot. Or not even they complained, they said it was cold. Sorry, it was cold. Like, that's not even a complaint. Like, yeah, it's cold. Like, help, like, what the fuck? I mean, your place of business is cold. And girls also get sensitive to cold way easier anyway. So if it's cold for her, it's probably cold for the hairstylist too. You know it's cold, you can feel it. Like, sort it out. Get an electric heater. Sort it out, man. It's not that difficult. Maybe your heating in your house is broken, which is another issue that you're trying to get fixed. Cool. But in the time being, while you're taking people's money, get a couple of electric heaters. Put them on low, because I know they can sometimes be a little bit funny with the smell. Put them on low, heat the place up, make people feel comfortable, so they want to spend more money, and they maybe want to come back later or another time because you made the place warm, you made the place nice and safe to be in. Like, this is fucking crazy, man. Honestly, when I saw this, I was absolutely shocked. Absolutely fucking shocked. There's some comments here, courtesy of the Shea Borough, where people were kind of reacting to this whole debacle. Let me actually play this, actually. Some comments here from other noteworthy people in the UK who reacted to what's been going on here. And I guess this is a girl. The girl's name is Mulan's Hair. So this is Mulan's Hair. People reacting to Mulan's Hair controversy. Let's see what happens and let's see what people have to say here. First person.
UK hairstylists need to be fucking checked. I don't know who you lot think you lot are, right? And yes, we're going to talk about it. You lot do treat influencers way better than your clients that's actually paying you. Mm-hmm. So what blew my mind was when Milan said, "Are you anemic? Are you fucking stupid? This girl is paying £150, £150 to get her hair done in a leave out, yeah? And a woman said she's cold. First and foremost, you're not in a business shop. You're not even in a shop or on a commercial rental property or anything. You are doing hair in your household. You understand? If your client who is paying you £150 asks you to turn on the heater in your house because she's very cold, everybody knows the United Kingdom is absolutely cold. UK hairstylists need to be fucking checked.
Now, she's right. And that's the thing that's really... I guess that's why the girl crashed out, because it was embarrassing that she's doing hair in her home and it's cold. She doesn't have the heating on. I think that's why she did it. I think that's what we're getting at. We're getting at it's less to do with what the girl said and more to do with how the girl felt insecure, the hairdresser, because she was reminded that she doesn't have heating in her house or she can't afford the heating. But still, you can afford it. If you're getting paid £150 to do people's hair, you can afford it. You're just putting it off. You're just not making it a priority, which you obviously should make a priority. But yeah, it's fucking wild. Next person. You're asking people if they got anemia. It's hilarious.
Took you years to build your business and minutes for it to crash and burn. You feel like you can take people's money and get a service and the service don't go your way. You have a right to complain. You have a right to speak up. You can do it in everybody else's establishment. But what, you can't do it in a black woman's chair? Absolutely the fuck not. At the end of the day, this is experience. And some gal need to go to business school to learn how to actually run a business. You lot are saying, yes, but she's really talented and she's got a thing. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you have a nasty, dirty, stinking attitude, no one is going to give you their money. And if you are, you're a big idiot. There are thousands of other up-and-coming stylists. She's not the only one. You will be okay. Took you years to build your business.
I agree.
And minutes.
I agree with this entirely. And I think hopefully everyone votes for their feet. People don't though, because unfortunately, because most likely this girl's been a bit of an asshole and a bit rude to people from day dot. I bet you there's been stories and reviews and feedback about her level of service when you're not an influencer or famous person that, you know, has been documented. I'm sure this is not the first time she's been rude to a client or made somebody leave because of some sort of like perceived rudeness or whatever. So I'm sure this is standard. But the problem is with people like this, she's probably really good at hair. That's the problem. I've had the same issue too. You get treated like shit by a barber or he tries to big time you. But when they're really good at what they do, you're going to put up with it, unfortunately. There comes a point where you don't, but when they're really good at what you do, you put up with it. I remember there was one particular barber actually I reached out to on Instagram who was acting like a real cunt actually. I ended up not going to him, gladly, happily. But he cuts hair really well. And I think he was in Plaza or something. And he was doing the haircuts and the trims of like famous footballers here in the UK too. And giving them really good fades and giving them really good locks. And I think he was one of the rare ones who could actually cut your hair and also, you know, lock your hair. Really good. So those type of people at that type of level, they're going to be in demand. But he's also a bit of an asshole. Eventually I stopped, you know, trying to get an appointment with him because he was making it super difficult. But people like that, I think, usually are okay because their work is so good. But I feel like this is so egregious, this is so crazy rude and disrespectful that I think even if her hair is amazing, you're not going to want to put yourself through this because this is too much. Like the way she was talking down to the girl, condescending, you know, the passive aggressiveness, the gaslighting was fucking crazy. I didn't even hear the bit where she asked her if she had fucking anemia. That's fucking crazy.
Just to ask a client, are you anemic because your house is cold? Is crazy. First of all, why y'all got no blood clot heating in this kind of weather? And you're providing a service. The fact that people leave their house and travel from whichever area in London just to get their hair done by you and are putting money in your pocket, simply ask you, is there any way you can accommodate the fact that I am cold? And you get defensive and feel shame. You thought the solution was to cancel the whole appointment because you can't provide what the client needs. But a hairdresser to ask a client, are you anemic because your house is cold, is crazy. First of all, why y'all got no blood?
Honestly, not having any heating on in your house is a choice that you make. But when others come in, you have to put the heating on. I'm sorry, that's how, even when I was at home, that's the standard rule. Maybe you don't have the heating for yourself, but when others come into the home, you put the heating on. Like that shouldn't be crazy. That shouldn't be crazy. Another person, if you have no heating in your house, you're talking to me, you need to address with me. No, if you have no heating in your house and you're talking to me, you need to address me with your inside voice. In fact, whisper.
Matter is, you're not nice, and that's why you got gospel blasted on in the background. But true say Christians are broken people coming to the Lord, and He does say, "Come as you are." But you, you're a different type of nasty. To allow someone to leave with the net. That girl sat there and gave us the story time with the net still over her leave out, the needle and thread still connected to the 2 tracks that this girl had sewed on. Boy, listen, I'm not perfect, but Matthew 7 verse 20 says, you will know them by their fruits. Your fruit is your business and the way you treat people as an extension of your business. And in all honesty, you allowing that girl to leave with the net on her head and the way you spoke to her in the end, it just didn't give grace at all. The same grace you're rewarded on a daily basis is the same grace that you're supposed to award to those people that come through your door. You're supposed to be separated by divinity. You're supposed to be separated by the fact that people should know your walk with Christ just by knowing you. That means they should know your walk with Christ by your customer service, and you lack proof of the matter is.
And the funny thing is about it, she makes a good point about the gospel thing. That is a really good, that's a bit of a red flag. Anybody blaring gospel, especially the mums, the aunties and stuff that blare it from their phone or sing it while they're walking down the street, usually you're not the nicest person. You're a bit nasty, you know? You're trying to make up or you're trying to cover for your terrible attitude IRL. You're probably not the nicest person in the world, I'd imagine, with that fucking gospel blasting. You're not convincing or fooling anybody.
Pockets, right? You charged £150, yeah, for that style. And you're telling me out of that £150, you couldn't take up a local £40 or £50 and go buy one little eater?
Exactly.
That to me just gives me that you are greedy and you don't want to spend money and you do not care about your customers. Because you see, now if that was me, if I know that I've got clients coming over and my heater isn't working, the first thing I'm gonna do is say, you know what, let me go to Argos quickly or Sainsbury's or wherever and buy a heater. Because you know what? The worst thing you can do is sit in the cold.
Exactly.
In the cold, you know. Sit still in the cold and get your hair done. That's the worst thing, especially in England as well, where it's fucking freezing and it's winter. Your pockets, right?
And it's not even like, it's weird that people have to even say this, right? Surely, maybe the first thing, like even the solution that that girl offered about, oh, you should have put it up on your socials, that, hey, my heater's not working, wrap up warm. That isn't acceptable, I don't think, because it makes your business look shoddy. Like, what? You can't afford heating. Like, just go buy the heaters. Like, I remember working in retail. That's what would happen all the time. Sometimes the heater will break and you just go, you know, the manager will just go and buy some fucking electric heaters and plug them all around the fucking space. It wouldn't be the best, but it'd be, you know, it'd be fucking a solution. So just not even offering or not even trying to make that solution to make the person feel comfortable while you're in your home is wild to me. Wild.
Canadian living in the UK and I love to get my hair done. The UK hairstylists are the most unprofessional group of people I've ever met in my life. And I think maybe because you guys don't know what good customer service is. Like I've noticed when it comes to like service industries, because you guys don't live off of tips, which is a good thing. Y'all don't know what good customer service is. And I've been called entitled because I expect good customer service where I'm spending my money. But I digress, okay? But it's here that I was just like, wow. It's like they don't care about their job. It seems like they're in it for a quick check. Let me not get started on the prices. On the prices. To not include basic cornrow in a wig install, which is the base, which is what a wig install is. The rules and regulations. Canadian living in the UK.
That's the thing I've noticed too about black barbers too. I think it must be the same across the board. But it is that lack of professionalism. I wonder if that is true. I wonder if that is actually one of the unintended consequences of not having a tip culture where everyone's paid a decent minimum wage. So tips aren't really a priority, or they don't, you know, they don't matter that much here. And they're not based, because I think part of the reason why you do get good customer service in places that do take tips is because they take tips. So they're incentivized to treat you well. It's like the whole adage of people, it's like the whole thing with Pret-a-Manger. People always say the service there is really good because I think allegedly part of their bonuses is tied towards some of the, you know, customer service levels that they give to people and anonymous reports and whatever reviews that they get from customers when they come in. So their overly friendly tone and shit is usually them trying to ensure that they get their bonuses, which works out good because it puts a smile on your face because you're going to a coffee shop where they treat you with some semblance of self-respect, and it also helps them because they get to line their pockets by just being nice while they work. But I guess in England, that's not the case in general because people just get paid, innit? Like, they get paid well, they get paid a nice, decent hourly wage. Minimum wage is pretty decent here. Like, what is that, £10, I think? And you're getting cash in hand with these type of places, and you're probably inundated, or there's probably more demand for your service than you have the ability to do it. You're probably oversubscribed, you're booked up. So you feel like you can take the piss and treat people like shit. That's the only thing. And also, I think the standard of quality of service is pretty low across the board. Most people are shit. Most girls are going to these girls who are doing hair in their living room because most hair salons are terrible. Let's be real. Let's call a spade a spade. Most hair salons on the high street, wherever you are, the standards with these aunties are so up and down. They're so all over the place that most girls don't want to risk going there, so they'd rather go to a girly who looks like them, who understands the lingo, who does popular, trendy, modern styles. But the problem is, everybody wants those trendy, modern, popular styles. So they get to take the piss out of you because they know you got nowhere else to go. Like, that girl, as much as I would love to say it should damage her business and she should take some lessons and go back to the drawing board and change how she treats his customers, I have a feeling that she's probably even more booked than she has ever been now. You know? Like, she's probably having it's probably like what happens with Asian restaurants, right? Chinese restaurants. They always say if you want to find the best Chinese restaurant in any city, always go for the ones that are like 1 star and lower. So maybe in her business, the worse you treat your customers, the worse your reputation is, the actual better the hair is, because you're really in demand because people are willing to put up with your bullshit attitude. But either way, unfortunate situation. Hopefully that girl has got her hair sorted out now and she hasn't been needing to leave around the street looking around, looking fucking wild. Hopefully. Okay, my friends, that has been the Agostinho Zinga Show, episode number 889. Oh, no, 889. Sorry, 882. Thank you for tuning in. 882 of the Agostinho Zinga Show. It's a pleasure to have your company. If it's your first time checking out the podcast via the live stream, make sure you like it down below. Subscribe to the channel. If you're listening to the podcast via the audio side of things, make sure that you leave me a 5-star review on any platform you're listening it to. And if you can share it. All that regards will be appreciated. There's going to be a link to my email and stuff in the description to check out as well. For those of you waiting for random show, that'll be happening later. I'm going to go off to the gym now, but random show will be later. When I come back, we'll do a random show. And everybody else, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate all of you. It's been a pleasure, not a chore. For those of you tuning in via the audio side of the pod, you should hear my tune of the day. My tune of the day will be from a new artist I just discovered today, actually, called Until Japan. A new artist I discovered called Until Japan. My song of the day from him will be EU Swag. EU Swag from Until Japan, my song of the day. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate all of you. Take care. Be safe. Thank you for hanging out. Peace.